Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of Chud Watch. I hope you're all doing well today on this Monday evening. Sorry I'm a little late today. Jake and I were recording for the Hannah and Jake channel. I hope you are all doing well. Oh, I gotta reset the sub goal. Give me just a sec so I can do that. Let me turn this off so you can't see. And then let me go reset the sub goal real quick for January. I can't believe it's January already, guys. It's crazy. 2020 felt like simultaneously, I mean, I'm not memeing, I know everyone has already said this, but 2020 simultaneously felt like the longest and shortest year ever. What's up with that? Am I feeling better? I am. For those who didn't see on Twitter, I took some time off. I started a new medication, and it made me really, really sick, like nauseous. I was like at the toilet, like, because I didn't end up actually getting sick, but I felt like I was on the verge of throwing up for a while, and it made me really dizzy, so yeah, that's not gonna work out. But I'm okay now, so thank you, people who sent, you know, who sent your, well wishes. I appreciate it. January sub goal.
There's nothing funny about the tools of capitalism.
Ooh, we're getting a hype train. Last month we had 317, but it was also December, so people were being particularly generous. So I'm gonna stick it at 200. We'll stick it at 200 for this month. Subscriber goal. Start goal. Oh, whoopsie. There we go. Nice. Let me get through some of these bit messages and subs and everything. Go back to the top. R. Wester V with a subscription with a 5-month streak, enjoying the stream and learning a lot.
right,
Thank you,
capitalistic
appreciate it.
propaganda.
The Shadow Witch with 100 bits, may I say, I hope the current Secretary of Education drowns in toddler drool, and I can only hope that hack asses at work right now live to regret every moment of
nothing
their
funny about
existence.
the
I am
tools of
pissed.
capitalism.
F these corporate shills, their damn attack on education, and I hope they are infected with crotch crickets in a great mood. Hi, Hannah. I can tell. You sound absolutely jovial and not
There's nothing
aggrieved
funny about the
whatsoever.
tools of capitalism.
Chrissia, thank you for subscribing with a tier 1 subscription. 5-month streak. Chrissia says, your voice sounds quite a bit more feminine today. Not sure if that's new meds or a conscious effort. Just thought I'd mention it. Thank you. Wolf Butler with 100 bits. Hey, Hannah, just found your channel. Think you might like talking to a fellow streamer called Artie. Artie's Corporate Fiction. He does Sovereign Citizen, Karens, etc., which might be worth a collab. Maybe. I'd have to check the person out. Innsmouth Swim Team with 400 bits. Glad you're feeling better. Me too. Thank you. Razzle Dazzle 91, thank you for subscribing. Brody Man, thank you for subscribing with a 3-month streak. Says, watching you with Jake is weird now. I keep waiting for Elon Musk to pop up and it never happens. Quasi Shuffle Kitty with 20 bits. We need Hans on to explain time dilation. Yeah, I miss Hans. Vulcan Princess 97 with 80 bits. My final few bits. Here's to a wonderful 2021. Same to you all. Oh, I didn't even say Happy New Year, everyone. Happy New Year. Let's hope this upcoming year is much better than the previous one. Stone Corbell with 100 bits. It's a hype train. Colossus TV. Ahoy hoy.
There's nothing funny
Which
about
I
the
think
tools
is what
of
Alexander
capitalism.
Graham Bell wanted people to answer the phone with. Razzle Tazzle 91, thank you for gifting 5 tier 1 subs. John Phelan 1 with a sub with a 4-month
There's nothing
streak,
funny
or no, a
about the
1-month
tools of
streak, 4
capitalism.
months non-consecutively. Hype! Colossus TV with 20 bits, probably a Lannister with 50 bits, glad you're feeling better, thank you. Cast Iron Pan, thank you for gifting 5 tier 1 subs.
There's nothing funny
Batty
about
Bell
the
with
tools of
1,000 bits, happy to
capitalism.
be here with you in chat, you're all wonderful. You're wonderful, Batty Bell. Thanks for coming. We're at 52%, I assume, of level 5 at this point. Not bad, not bad.
There's
Not bad
nothing
at
funny
all.
about the tools of
I got some new
capitalism.
stuff in the mail, which I might be wearing instead of hats today for the hype train. It's normally Tinfoil Tuesday stuff, but I'm quite excited for it, so we might take a look at some of that
There's
stuff.
nothing funny about the tools of capitalism.
Oh, I wanted to do something else, too. Hold on. I needed to start a... Hold on. Add a new scene. We're going to call it... Stream
There's nothing
Channel
funny about the tools of capitalism.
Graveyard. 74 Quinn 74 with 100 bits. Archangel 1357.9 with 400 bits says, I'm participating. MW 1642 with 60 bits. Happy to hear you're feeling better. You look lovely today, Hannah. Thank you. So let's go over to that. We're going to start what I'm going to call the Stream Channel Graveyard, or the channel, whatever. It's going to be... It's gonna be for channels that have been removed, that we regularly covered, okay? So let me get this going, okay? It might take a second. Need some text. And new source. Who got removed? We'll talk about it in a sec. There have been quite a few, so... Hype Train at 116% with 2.5 minutes left. Channel Graveyard. Okay, so we need a Hans Worm hat. We need Ben and Ben. Sorry, just gotta add these real quick during... We're doing a hype train anyway, so it's okay. I'll get to these messages and everything in a second, by the way. Image, add source, new source, add source, browse. I'm sure this is thrilling, listening to me navigate menus. This is going to be channels that were removed from YouTube that we either have covered in the past, or in the case of Hans, for instance, Hans didn't voluntarily, or he did rather voluntarily choose to end his show, so... Almost getting it. Sorry, guys. I know. I know. Thrilling excitement, not at all boring. 30 seconds left. We got 254% into the hype train. That's real good. There we have Ben and Ben. Rather, Ben and not Ben, I guess I should say. That'll do. That's close enough, right? It's gonna bother me that it's off a little bit. Hey, good job on the hype train. That was a really good hype train. Thank you, everyone. I'll go back and I'll get to all your bits messages in a second. And then we gotta add Nathan Thompson. I should have done this prior to the stream, but Baja told me to do it, so I gotta do it. Ben and not Ben got banned. They did indeed. Were there any other channels that we watched that have been banned that I can't remember for one reason or another? Not just generic ones we watched once or twice, but ones that we watched, you know, a decent bit of, preferably. Okay, let me get through these bit messages. Oh, I have one more that's new for today. Sorry. Am I going to be able to find a picture of this guy? Hold on. What's this guy's name? I don't know if I'm going to be able to find a picture of this guy. There he is. One picture. I found exactly one picture of this guy. This is going to be news to most of you guys, probably. Our favorite Spangly Cowboy himself, Cowboy Joe, has had his channel removed by YouTube. So, goodbye, Cowboy Joe. I hope the old dusty trail treats you well, okay? Probably for spreading election conspiracy theories, if I had to guess. Who's Flat Glasses? This is Nathan. Nathan Thompson. I need to... Hold on. No, not that one. What about Alt? Yeah. We got the cropping. Yeah, crop that bitch. Cropped. Consider yourself cropped, Cowboy Joe. Sure, fine. It doesn't fit with the other ones, but I can adjust it later. So this is the channel graveyard so far. Hooray. So if any channels that we regularly watch get banned or disappear or whatever, this is where they will reside. This will be their final resting place. Fall of the Cabal. That wasn't really an individual's channel. That's just the name of the air quote documentary. So I don't think that one counts. Okay, let me get to the rest of these bit messages. Wendell Pones with 20 bits. Looking lush as ever, Hannah. I'm ready for the chuds. Me too. Colossus TV with 20 bits. Look at this dog and cat with 100 bits. Started off the year with a raise. Let's celebrate. Hey, congratulations. Razzle Tazzle 91 with 100 bits. Hannah, your hair looks amazing today. I really want to learn to curl my hair. This is actually just, it's some curl... Hold on, I can go get it. This isn't an ad. This is not an ad, but someone brought it up. I didn't actually curl my hair. This is just natural hair moisturizing curl activator that just did that. So this is just, I just like basically did this with my hair and scrunched it in, and it just gets very curly. MMO Addicted with 100 bits. Hey, Hannah, it's been a year since I last saw you. Ha 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 ha. That's the most original joke I've ever heard. Existential Baguette, thank you for subscribing with a 6-month streak. Albatrotsky, thank you for gifting 2 gift subs. Lord Cuckbucket, thank you for gifting 5 tier 1 subs. Tyosicle with 25 bits. I had some free money from Google Rewards, and now converted into Bezos bucks. Love the streams, and I gotta say you look great today. Thank you. Frizerburn says, 8 months with Hannah. Yay! You've been one of my favorite content creators for nearly a decade, and I'm so happy to be able to support you directly these days for so much amazing content. I very much appreciate your viewership. It allows me to do this stuff. Brody Man, thank you for 100 bits. Tyosicle with 20 bits. Be unapologetic and take the time you need. By the time you read this, you'll probably be done, though. Indeed. The Marusama with 20 bits. Hannah, I did it. I paid off my credit card. Hey, congrats. I know that's tough. That's real tough. Razzle Tazzle 91 with 100 bits. Chat, I love you. This is one of the nicest places I've been. Aw, that's nice. We have a pretty great chat. The Shadow Witch with 50 bits. Oh, darn, what a shame. Only one standout. Thompson, I hope you enjoy that New Year's gift, you absolutely ignorant Dunning-Kruger on Elm Street mother effer. Jeez. Spicy. Anarkitty with 25 bits. Hannah, what's going on with the channel? What channel? What's going on with what channel? Did something happen to our channel, Jake and Mine's? YouTube.com. No, we're still there. Oh, the graveyard? The graveyard's just for channels we regularly cover.
Greetings from the Andrews sisters. I'm Patty. I'm Maxie. And I'm Laverne.
Sorry. I'm getting through my tabs and stuff. Ben and Ben got banned. Yes, they did. Sir Parker Posey with 200 bits. Love you, Hannah, in chat. Have you seen the new video from the gun-toting congresswoman from Colorado? It's super cringe. No, I haven't seen it. Lord Cuckbucket with 50 bits. Here's a goodbye cheer for Spangly Cowboy Joe. Yee! Maybe don't make a video talking about a channel strike and doubling down on why you got the strike. Ha! MMO Addicted with 100 bits. Yet no one else made it here. I claimed it first. Now I'm going to die. Been having awful stomach aches for the last couple of days. Oh, I'm sorry. I hope it gets better. And then we're all caught up. Great. Pits not pity. Thank you for following. Welcome to the stream. So, welcome to another edition of Chud Watch. It only took us 27 minutes to get through the intro portion. There's not going to be MAGA Cope today. We have some videos to watch. Also, how do I put this? MAGA Cope, the wonderful Twitch, or Twitter that we get a lot of that content from, they've been suspended temporarily, so that'll come back whenever they come back. I could get it from different channels, like Parlor Watch, or I could go to the Donald.win and procure stuff, but I didn't have time today, so. So yeah, we're gonna start with something else. We have other stuff to look at. We have Terrence K. Williams back at it, probably trying to shill gold. We have John Doyle with a video entitled "The Truth About the N-Word." I'm sure that's gonna be just great. We have Terrence Pop once again talking about Civil War. This is Cowboy Joe's channel that's been deleted. Sticks and Hammer freaking out, as always. We have the 1-hour phone call Trump placed to the Georgia Secretary of State asking them to find votes to let Trump win Georgia. So that'll be, seditious. I guess we could take a listen to that. What would you all like to start with today? What do you think sounds good? Hold on, I'll start a poll so we can, decide. Hold on, I'm doing a poll. Okay, vote in this poll! Bean Dad. Do we need to talk about Bean Dad? I don't think we need to talk about Bean Dad. Ooh, the Trump call's winning. I thought for sure Doyle was gonna take it, but no, people want to hear the Trump call. Okay. How do you vote? Normally it pops up on chat, but if it's not popping up, it's not popping up on my chat either, which it normally does, so I don't know if it's like something going on with Twitch. This is fraud. How did Doyle not win? Yeah, we'll do some recounts and then some audits, and then you can sue me and it can get thrown out of court. Stop the count. Stop the count. Count the votes. Count the votes. Okay. The Trump call wins. So for those who didn't hear... oh, God. Donald Trump, the current president of the United States until January 20th, there was a leaked phone call after, just the other day, he called the Georgia Secretary of State and basically mobstered him into trying to get him to manufacture fake votes for Donald Trump. You know what I mean when I say mob boss? Basically, that's a nice horse. It would be a shame if something were to happen to it. Saying without saying. Basically, Trump says things along the lines of, things will be very bad for you if you don't do this. You know, things you want the president to do. So let's take a listen. I don't know if we'll get through the whole thing. If not, then we'll jump to like a summary, because there's a 4-minute video that hits some of the major points. But I think the big takeaway from this call is something I called weeks ago, which I don't think is a crazy thing that I guessed that. Anyone who knows anything about narcissists understood this. Some people were like, do you think Trump really believes his own bullshit about election fraud, or do you think he's just grifting? And I said, he buys his own bullshit. He's a narcissist. He's incapable of recognizing he could have legitimately lost, so he has to construct this bullshit about voter fraud in order to excuse why he lost. This phone call illustrates that perfectly. He genuinely cannot imagine losing because people don't like him. So let's take a listen.
Everybody is on the line, and just so this is Mark Meadows, the Chief of Staff, just so we all are aware, on the line is Secretary of State and two other individuals, Jordan and Mr. Germany. With him, you also have the attorneys that represent the President, Kurt and Alex, and Cleta Mitchell, who is not the attorney of record but has been involved, myself, and then the President. So, Mr. President, I'll turn it over to you.
Okay, thank you very much. Hello, Brad and Ryan and everybody. We appreciate the time and the call. So we've spent a lot of time on this, and if we could just go over some of the numbers, I think it's pretty clear that we won. We won very substantially, Georgia. You even see it by rally size, frankly. We'd be getting 25, 30,000 people.
He's literally pushing the rally size bullshit.
The competition would get less than 100 people, and it never made sense. But we have a number of things. We have at least two or three, anywhere from 250 to 300,000 ballots were dropped mysteriously into the rolls. Much of that had to do with Fulton County, which hasn't been checked. We think that if you...
He's discussing the fact that a bunch of votes got registered all at once because they were mail-in votes that got tallied once they were all done, and he's claiming that that's suspicious even though that was expected to happen. He's literally pushing Facebook tier level 4chan type conspiracy nonsense.
Check the signatures, a real check of the signatures going back in Fulton County. You'll find at least a couple of 100,000 of forged signatures of people with... who have been forged, and we are quite sure that's going to happen. Another tremendous number. We're going to have an accurate number over the next 2 days with certified accountants, but an accurate number will be given. But it's in the 50s of thousands, and that's people that went to vote and they were told they can't vote because they've already been voted for. And it's a very...
He's talking about one incident, and we covered this. How is he this stupid? Okay, so some weeks ago, there was a story of a woman, and this was pushed forward by the Trump legal team, that there was this woman who went to the polls, and they told her, oh my God, you already voted. And she's like, I didn't vote. This is fraud. And then after they investigated, it turned out she did mail-in vote, but she showed up to vote in person anyway because she either forgot that she mail-in voted or she was trying to commit a felony. Either way, because her signature matched on the mail-in ballot with her actual signature. So Trump, again, straight up just pushing debunked conspiracy theories.
Sad thing. They walked out complaining, but the number is large. We'll have it for you, but it's much more than the number of 11,779. That's the current margin is only 11,779. Brad, I think you agree with that, right? That's something I think everyone, at least that's a number that everyone agrees on. But
that's the important number because that's the margin of votes Biden won in Georgia by, and he's going to bring that number up later.
That's the difference in the votes. But we've had hundreds of thousands of ballots that we're able to actually, we'll get you a pretty accurate number. You don't need much of a number because the number that, in theory, I lost by the margin would be 11,779. But you also have substantial numbers of people, thousands and thousands, who went to the voting place on November 3rd, were told they couldn't vote, were told they couldn't vote because a ballot had been put in on their name.
If that happens, you can fill out a provisional ballot. That's a thing. If there's some mistake and you filled out, like, or someone else did fill out and steal your ballot, which there's not really evidence of in what he's talking about here, not in these numbers, he would need literally like 10,000 something of this to happen, which just didn't happen. You can still fill out a provisional ballot, but I guess he's ignoring that. Whatevs.
And that's very, 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 very sad. We had, I believe it's about 4,502 voters who voted, but who weren't on the voter registration list. So it's 4,502 who voted, but they were not on the voter registration roll, which they had to be. You had
4,502 voters, Georgia. Let me see if I can find a source for this. A lot of it's transcripts from the thing, but I'm trying to find like a Snopes thing, because usually claims like this, conspiracy theories, even those pushed by Trump, usually have some sort of source, whether they're like a 4chan or a Facebook post, or if it's something that the Trump legal team says disingenuously or in a misleading way. But I don't find a specific fact check on that, so I'm not sure what the source of that claim is.
1,325 vacant address voters. They had the address was vacant, and they're not allowed to be counted. That's 18,325. Smaller number, you had 904 who only voted where they had just a PO, a post office box number. And they had a post office box number, and that's not allowed. We had at least 18,000, that's on tape. We had them counted very painstakingly. 18,000 voters having to do with Ruby Freeman. That's she's a vote scammer, a professional vote scammer and hustler. Ruby Freeman. That is
Ruby Freeman. Ruby Freeman. Ruby Freeman, Georgia. Ruby Freeman was not arrested by the FBI, no kidding. Election worker Ruby Freeman. On December 17th, 2020, dozens of Twitter accounts started spamming social media with near verbatim messages falsely claiming that woman named Ruby Freeman had been arrested by the FBI for crimes related to election fraud in Atlanta, Georgia. Let me see if they just have like a page with, no, that's just a citation to one of the things. There was no truth to this rumor. The FBI did not arrest Ruby Freeman for election fraud, and this person was not suspected outside of conspiracy-minded circles of any illegal activity related to the 2020 election. While most of the iterations of this viral message that we encountered simply contained the message above, some versions were part of a longer Twitter thread that included additional details about various charges that the FBI allegedly filed against Freeman. So, she's like an election worker or something? That a bunch of right-wing conspiracy nutcases, including the president, are blaming?
That was the tape that's been shown all over the world that makes everybody look bad. You, me, and everybody else. Where they got number one, they said very clearly, and it's been reported that they said there was a major water main break. Everybody fled the area, and then they came back. Ruby Freeman, her daughter, and a few people. There were no Republican poll watchers. Actually, there were no Democrat poll watchers. I guess they were them. But there were no Democrats either, and there was no law enforcement.
So what you're saying is no one was in the room. Okay? A water main broke. They needed to evacuate the building. Sorry.
Early in the morning, they went to the table with the black robe, the black shield, and they pulled out the votes. Those votes were put there a number of hours before. The table was put there. I think it was, Brad, you would know, it was probably 8
they're
hours
doing
or 7 hours
the
before.
thing under the table thing.
With votes. They weren't in an official
If
voter
this
box.
were a
They
bingo
were in
card of
what
like
looked to be,
election conspiracy theories, we would have had bingo by now.
Or trunks, suitcases, but they weren't in voter boxes. The minimum number it could be, because we watched it and they watched it certified in slow motion, instant replay, if you can believe it, but had slow motion, and it was magnified many times over. And the minimum it was 18,000 ballots, all for Biden.
They fit 18,000 ballots in a box that was this big. Wow. They must be really good at Tetris.
Voters, they voted in Georgia, but they were from out of state, of 4,925. You had absentee ballot sent to vacant. They were absentee ballots sent to vacant addresses. They had nothing on them about addresses. That's 2,326. And you had drop boxes, which was very bad. You had drop boxes that were picked up. We have photographs, and we have affidavits from many people. I don't know if you saw the hearings, but you have drop boxes where the box was picked up and not delivered for 3 days. So all sorts of things could have happened to that box, including, putting in the vote that you wanted. So there are many infractions, and the bottom line is many, many times the 11,779 margin that they said we lost by. We had the state is in turmoil over this.
When he says the state is in turmoil, I think he means he is in turmoil.
And I know you would like to get to the bottom of it, although I saw you on television today and you said that you found nothing wrong. I didn't lose the state, Fred. People have been saying that it was the highest vote ever. There was no way. A lot of the political people said that there's no way they beat me, and they beat me. They beat me in the poll. As you know, every single state, we won every state. We won every state house in the country. We held the Senate, which is shocking to people, although we'll see what happens tomorrow or in a few days. And
the president doesn't know when the Georgia runoff elections are, so that's good.
We won the House, but we won every single state house.
You didn't win the House. You gained seats in the House. The Democrats still control the House.
And we won Congress, which was supposed to lose 15 seats, and they gained, I think, 16 or 17 or something. I think there's now a difference of 5. There was supposed to be a difference substantially more. But politicians in every state, but politicians in Georgia have given affidavits and are
How must it feel? Oh god, it started a different video though.
Going to.
What the heck? Hold on. Stop. Okay. How must it feel to get a call from the president, but then the entire phone call is like the ramblings of your crazy uncle? The kind that gets drunk at dinner and rants about reptilians? That's gotta be frustrating.
That there was no way they beat me in the election, that the people came out. In fact, they were expecting to lose, and they ended up winning by a lot because of the coattails. And they said there's no way that they've done many polls prior to the election. There was no way that they won. Ballots were dropped in massive numbers, and we're trying to get to those numbers, and we will have them. They'll take a period of time, certified. But they're massive numbers, and far greater than the 11,779. The other thing, dead people. So dead people voted, and I think the number is in the close to 5,000 people. And they went to obituaries. They went to all sorts of methods to come up with an accurate number, and a minimum is close to about 5,000 voters. The bottom line is when you add it all up, and then you start adding, 300,000 fake ballots, then the
last I saw in numbers of officially people who were caught voting for a dead person was 2, and one of them voted for Trump. I don't know about the other one. I'm not for sure the other one voted for Biden, but I know one of them voted for Trump for sure.
Thing they said is in full.
And again, That's two. Two people. The margin is over 10,000 votes.
County and other areas, and this may or may not be true, this just came up this morning, that they are burning their ballots, that they are shredding ballots and removing equipment. They're changing the equipment on the Dominion machines, and then that's not legal. And they supposedly shredded, I think they said 3,000 pounds of ballots. And that just came to us as a report today. And, it's a very sad situation. But Brad, if you took the minimum numbers were many, many times above the 11,779, and many of those numbers are certified, or they will be certified, but they are certified. Those are numbers that are there, that exist, and that beat the margin of loss. They beat it, by a lot. And people should be happy to have an accurate count instead of an election where there's turmoil. There's turmoil in Georgia and other places. You're not the only one. We have other states that I believe will be flipping to us very shortly. And but this is something that's as an example, I think in Detroit, and I think there's a good section of your state actually, which we're not sure, so we're not going to report it yet. But in Detroit, we had 139% of the people voted.
He's still citing this, guys. That's a reference to one of the things that Sidney Powell and the other Trump lawyers, when they were still on the team, filed in court. Oh my God. They filed in court, and they fucked up by comparing Minnesota registered voters to Michigan. And also on top of that, another instance, I'm not sure which instance he's referring to, but one instance was comparing Minnesota's voter registrations to Michigan counties because they thought the abbreviation for Michigan was MN and not MI. And then the other one was, this is just incredibly dishonest, they would compare registered voters in, let's say, the city of Detroit, but not the entirety of the outskirts that also constitute those who vote in Detroit. So they'd be like, we had 139 whatever percent voter turnout, but not really, because they're comparing, again, the population of the city itself of Detroit to all the people who vote in Detroit. Does that make sense, what I'm saying? They would compare the city to the county, which is very different. It's a whole frustrating thing. That being said, I don't think Trump necessarily knows that he's spouting bullshit right now. Again, he's a narcissist. I think dishonest people around him, not to say Trump isn't dishonest, but he's dishonest for an entirely different reason. Trump is dishonest because he's a narcissist who's incapable of accepting loss. He cannot accept that he lost the election, so he basically has to come up with all these, excuses and stuff to explain why he didn't win. Meanwhile, you have enablers all around him who are saying, oh yeah, you totally won the election, wink, wink, wink. Here's a bunch of bullshit. They're not telling him it's bullshit, but they concoct intentionally a bunch of bullshit to feed him and feed a bunch of Trump people on Parler and social media in general, right? It's not about... How do I put this? Trump believes his own bullshit, is my point. And that's what makes it so frustrating to me, is having a leader who is in charge of nuclear weapons, who is completely divorced from reality, is absolutely horrifying. And it should horrify everyone, because it's not good.
That's not too good. In Pennsylvania, they had well over 200,000 more votes than they had people voting. And that doesn't play too well. And the legislature there which is Republican, is extremely activist and angry. But there were other things also that were almost as bad as that. But they had, as an example, in Michigan, a tremendous number of dead people that voted. I think it was I think, Mark, it was 18,000.
Again, I explained this in previous streams too. The claim that a bunch of dead people voted in Michigan has been investigated, and no, it turned out to not be true. What happens is they search a name on the voter registration or whatever, and it comes up with someone who was born in like 1890 whatever, someone who's clearly dead, and then they go, well, they voted this year, when really the person who voted this year is not the same person who was born in 1890 whatever. It's someone who shares the same name living in Detroit today, but they happen to share the same name as a dead person.
Some unbelievably high number, much higher than yours. You were in the 4,000 to 5,000 category.
The funny thing is, even if 18,000 dead people voted in Michigan and you threw those out, and they were all Biden votes, Trump would still lose. He lost Michigan by like 150,000 votes. It wasn't even close.
And that was checked out laboriously by going through by going through the obituary columns in the newspapers. So.
Is Trump's legal team legit such boomers that they decided to, like, we're gonna look through the paper obituaries and we're gonna compare names to voter rolls, and that's how that works? There definitely aren't people with the same names in one city, right? Especially very common names. No, they must be dead. Jesus Christ.
I guess with all of it being said, Brad, it's the bottom line. And provisional ballots, again, you'll have to tell me about the provisional ballots, but we have a lot of people that were complaining that they weren't able to vote because they were already voted for. And these are great people. And, they were shell-shocked.
They're great people because they were going to vote for Trump, if that's not clear. They're not great just because they're voting. They're great because they're voting for Trump.
I don't know if you call that provisional ballots. In some states, we had a lot of provisional ballot situations where people were given a provisional ballot because when they walked in on November 3rd, they were already voted for.
As of right now, if you cast a provisional ballot, chances are it's been counted by now. They count provisional ballots provided they can make sure that your other one didn't get counted already. It's fine.
So that's it. I mean, we have many, many times the number of votes necessary to win the state, and we won the state, and we won it very substantially and easily, and we have much of this is they're certified. Far more certified than we need, but we're getting additional numbers certified too. And
they're certified, far more certified than we need. They're so certified that over 60 court cases all got thrown out, everywhere from district and local courts to state Supreme Courts and up to the actual Supreme Court of the United States, threw out every single case that we put in front of them. That's how certified this evidence is. The best.
We're getting pictures of drop boxes being delivered and delivered late and delivered 3 days later in some cases. Plus, we have many affidavits to that effect.
So, Mr. President, if I might be able to jump in, and I'll give Brad a chance, Mr. Secretary,
To be clear, Trump just got on this phone call and talked breathlessly for 13 minutes straight without even a single second of allowing the Secretary of State to, have a word about this. 13 minutes! He just talked. 13 minutes!
Obviously, there are allegations where we believe that not every vote or fair vote and legal vote was counted, and that's at odds with the representation from the Secretary of State's office. What I'm hopeful for is there some way that we can find some kind of an agreement to look at this a little bit more fully. The president mentioned Fulton County, but in some of these areas where there seems to be a difference of where the facts seem to lead. And so, Mr. Secretary, I was hopeful that in a spirit of cooperation and compromise, is there's something that we can at least have a discussion to look at some of these allegations.
Can we compromise on our bald-faced sedition
litigious.
attempt? Just a little coup as a treat.
I've listened to what the president has just said. President Trump, we've had several lawsuits, and we've had to respond in court to the lawsuits and the contentions. We don't agree that you have one. I didn't agree about the 200,000 number that you mentioned, and I could go through that point by point. What we had done is we gave our state senate about 1.5 hours of our time going through the election issue by issue, and then on the state house, the government affairs committee, we gave them about 2.5 hours of our time, going back point by point on all the issues of contention. And then just a few days ago, we met with our U.S. congressman, Republican congressman, and we gave them about 2 hours of our time talking about this past election. Going back, primarily what you've talked about here, focused in on primarily, I believe, is the absentee ballot process. I don't believe that you're really questioning the Dominion machines, because we did a hand.
I literally forgot after the hype train. I never put on hype train stuff. Give me a second, and I'll put that stuff on. Again, some of this is tinfoil stuff, but I'm so excited that I got it that I gotta put it on, okay? Where did I put that? Haha!
Retally, a 100% retally of all the ballots, and compared that to what the machine said, and it came up with virtually the same result. Then we did the recount, and we got virtually the same result. So I guess we could probably take that off the table. I don't think there's an issue about that. I think what you're
Brad,
will there be any Karen vids today? I'd argue the president calling the Secretary of State to complain about the results of an election is pretty Karen-y. That's about as can I talk to your manager as you can get as the leader of the free world, I think, is calling to complain about an election result. Daughter of Tiamat says they renewed their sub, but it didn't pop up. All right, well, thank you for renewing it. That's weird. Twitch has been having issues the last couple days, so... How's that? Tinfoil cape. Some monster horns. Not bad. This is a very serious stream, by the way. Take me very seriously. Okay?
Not an issue, but because we have a big issue with Dominion and other states, and perhaps in yours, but we haven't felt we needed to go there. And just to maybe put a little different spin on what Mark is saying, Mark Meadows. We'd like to go further, but we don't really need to. We have all the votes we need. We won the state. If you took, these are the most...
You didn't win the state, Mr. President. You lost.
Most minimal numbers, the numbers that I gave you. Those are numbers that are certified.
What about the gloves? I don't know where the gloves went.
That's right, capitalistic propaganda.
Oh, they're right here. Sure, we'll do the gloves. We'll do the gloves.
Your absentee ballots sent to vacant addresses, your out-of-state voters, 4,925. When you add them up, it's many times the 11,779 number.
What do you guys think? Did I just awaken anything in anyone?
Funny about the tools of capitalism.
Okay.
So we could go through. We have not gone through your Dominion, so we can't give them blessing. I mean, in other states, we think we found tremendous corruption with Dominion machines, but we'll have to see. But we only lost the state by by that number, 11,000 votes, and 779. So with that being said, with just what we have, and with just what we have, we're giving you minimal numbers. We're doing the most conservative numbers possible. We're many times above the margin. And so we don't really have to, Mark. I don't think we have to go through routines because what's the difference between winning the election by two votes and winning it by 500,000 votes? I think we probably did win it by 500,000. One of the things that happened, Brad, is we have other
He's
people
just
coming
claiming
in
he
now
won
from
by
Alabama
500,000 votes
and from South
no
Carolina
citation.
and from other states, and they're saying it's impossible for you to have lost Georgia. We won. In Alabama, we set a record, got the highest vote ever. In Georgia, we set a record with a massive amount of votes. And they say it's not possible to have lost Georgia. And I could tell you by our rallies. I could tell you by the rally I'm having on Monday night, the place they already have lines of people standing out front waiting. It's just not possible to have lost Georgia. It's not possible. When I heard it was close, I said, there's no way. But they dropped a lot of votes in there late at night. You know that, Brett. And that's what we are working on very, very stringently.
Again,
but
they were mail-in votes. They're legal votes.
With all of it being said, we lost by essentially 11,000 votes. And we have many more votes already calculated and certified to. So I just don't know, Mark, I don't know what's the purpose. I won't give Dominion a pass because we found too many bad things, but we don't need Dominion or anything else. We have won this election in Georgia based on all of this, and there's nothing wrong with saying.
Let me check that for the president. Oh God, it's hard to type in these. Election results 2020. Oh look, nope. Actually, Joe Biden won Georgia. Glad I could fact check that for the president.
That, Brad. Having a correct. The people of Georgia are angry, and these numbers are going to be repeated on Monday night, along with others that we're going to have by that time, which are much more substantial even. And the people of Georgia are angry. The people of the country are angry, and there's nothing wrong with saying that. That you've recalculated because. The 2,236 and absentee ballots, they're all exact numbers that were done by accounting firms, law firms, etc. And even if you cut them in half, and cut them in half again, it's more votes than we need.
Well, Mr. President, the challenge that you have is the data you have is wrong. We talked to the congressmen, and they were surprised, but they... I guess there was a person named Mr. Raynard that came to these meetings and presented data. And he said that there was dead people, I believe it was upward of 5,000. The actual number were two people that were dead that voted. And so that's wrong. That was two.
Well, Cleta, how do you respond to that? You tell me.
Well, I will say, Mr. Secretary, one of the things that we have requested, and what we said was, and if you read our petition, it said that we took the names and birth years, and we had certain information available to us. We have asked from your office for records that only you have. And so we said there's a universe of people who have the same name and same birth year and died, but we don't have the records that you have. And one of the things that we have been suggesting formally and informally for weeks now is for you to make available to us the records that would be necessary to confirm.
But Cleta, even before you do that, and not even including that, that's why I hardly even included that number, although in one state we have a tremendous amount of dead people, so I don't know. I'm sure we do in Georgia, too. But,
point of order, I just wanted to use this gavel, first of all, because I have a real gavel now instead of the tinfoil one, although this will get wrapped in tinfoil before tomorrow. Trump's, justification that he won is that he won. He hasn't even given a single actual reason that he thinks these things are true other than, we won, we have even more, I'm sure I won Georgia too. This is what I'm talking about in terms of narcissist. He doesn't understand how reality works.
There's nothing funny
In
about
his
the tools
head,
of
he
capitalism.
literally has to win, and if he doesn't, then someone has cheated him in some way. It is so disgusting. Hannah's a judge, and you're effed. Speaking of which, Baja, good news, Marcel Bissett commented on the Marcel Bissett video. I know because I got a bunch of notifications because she left like 30 comments.
That's right, capitalistic propaganda.
So that's fun. Okay, do I think deep down Trump knows he didn't win? No, I don't. He's a narcissist. He can't. Okay, I'm getting real behind on bits messages, so let me read some and then we'll continue. Towing24, I agree with Defector that Trump farts at 5140 of the call. I'll try and take a 5140. I'll try and remember, and we'll forensically determine if we determine that's a fart or not, okay? Tucker White, between Saul Alinsky and Ruby Freeman, why is it whenever conservatives name a boogeyman, it's always someone nobody has ever heard of? Because it all happens in like a niche underground 4chan Facebook meme world. MMO Addicted with 100 bits. I love the image they used for Trump. I want to bet 10,000 bits that Trump, after Biden inauguration, starts styling himself the president in exile and denounces all of Biden's decisions, issuing his own from Trump Tower. I don't know if he'll even be in Trump Tower, because I think New York's going to be investigating him. So probably from Florida. Atlantia Lumos, thank you for following. Tucker White with 20 bits. Wait, Trump has photographs and affidavits, and he's only now bringing this up and not during the court cases, so either he's lying out of his ass or he's really that stupid. Sadly, I can't even completely dismiss the latter. The affidavits were mentioned, but even the courts looked at the affidavits, so they're like, we have nothing to back these up. An affidavit without being backed up by actual evidence is just someone saying stuff. Tucker White 94, 20 bits, that music was perfectly timed. Stonecore Bell says, can you imagine how many hours people in high-level positions in government have had to listen to the president ramble incoherently over the phone for the last 4 years? Sounds like hell to me. Hey, they picked their job. It does sound awful, though. Tucker White, wait, I forget who won the election? Let me double check. Joe Biden has won the election. Fun fact. Wait, does Trump think zombies shouldn't have the right to vote? I know, so discriminatory. Ghetto Kanya with 50 bits. He really could have been a dictator, but he's honestly too dumb to do it correctly. Andrew Batella with 20 bits, but evangelicals have precedent for being zombies existed. See Jerusalem in 33 AD. Only in one of the books of the Bible, though. The other ones don't mention it. The rising from the dead stuff. Butterfiend69 with 20 bits. I like to imagine that he just has the phone on his shoulder while he's doing other things and just letting Trump drone on. Probably a Lannister with 50 bits. This is the most certified that has ever been certified. Ghetto Kanya with 20 bits. OMFG, Trump had to call 18 times to get this through the Georgia Secretary of State. I did hear about that. Altered Rin, thank you for hosting. Hunter Saurus1, thank you for following. Idiot Ruins Game, thank you for subscribing with Prime. Show Me the Orbs with 69 bits. Dad Beal, thank you for the 20 bits. He won by a small loan of 1 million votes. Andrew Batella with 20 bits. But Hannah, integers are only well ordered if you accept mathematical induction as a valid logical proof. If you don't, the order of numbers is meaningless, and it's impossible to count past 1. Good argument. Too many big words for Trump to understand, though. DM Trey with 20 bits. I like having a prop. Have you noticed? I like to gesticulate. So having a thing in my hand. Yeah. DM Trey with 20 bits. Hey, Hannah. Hey, chat. How's everyone doing now? Altered Rin, thank you for gifting a sub. Bat, Cow, and Goat, thank you for subscribing with a 3-month streak. Looks like you're wearing a halo until you move back. Whatever it is cool. Also, I hate this narcissistic moron so much. The Shadow Witch with 50 bits. Trump is the final boss? No. He's the bullshit that leads up to the final boss. 2020 was Persona 3 or 4, but 2021 is Shin Megami Tensei on steroids. Do not think this is the easy mode, my friends. This jackass is gonna be GOP Trump 2021 2.7. I hate everything. Any Streams, thank you for following. Tucker White with 20 bits. A universe of people. They have a universe of people? Apparently universe is now just a unit of measurement. How much is a universe of people? All the people. Lord Cuckbucket with 50 bits. Oh god, Hannah, you look adorable. I love everything about that costume, but good thing Raffensperger is intelligent and honorable because if Trump had all of this proven, he wouldn't need to call the Georgia Secretary of State in the first place, yeah. Wondering what secretaries of state he also called, but they didn't release the phone call. I wonder if he called Michigan. OnlyFacts TV with 100 bits. Court is in order. Major Dub with 100 bits. You need to get that Law & Order gavel sound to accompany the motion. The Mayor Sama with 20 bits and a link. My cat loves you. Video pending. And then it's a link to their kitty, I would assume. Let me see if I can find the link. That's nice. Cute kitty. I can't get the noise to work for some reason. Oh, now the video's not working. I've been having so much trouble with Twitter videos. That's cute. Okay, let's get back to the phone call.
Is that we're so far ahead. We're so far ahead of these numbers. Even the phony ballots of Ruby Freeman, known scammer. You know the internet? You know what was trending on the internet?
You know the internet?
Where's Ruby? Because they thought
It's
she'd be in jail.
a series of tubes.
Where's Ruby? It's crazy. It's crazy. That was the minimum number is 18,000 for Ruby, but they think it's probably about 56,000. But the minimum number is 18,000 on the Ruby Freeman night.
They think it's 50,000, but it could be 18,000.
She stuffed the ballot boxes. Let's face it, Brad. I mean, they did it in slow motion replay, magnified, right? She stuffed the ballot boxes. They were stuffed like nobody's ever seen them stuffed before. So there's a term for it when it's a machine instead of a ballot box. But she stuffed the machine. She stuffed the ballot. Each ballot went 3 times. They were showing, here's ballot number 1. Here it is a second time, third time, next ballot. I mean, look, Brett, we have a new tape that we're going to release. It's devastating. And by the way, that one event is much more than the 11,000 votes that we're talking about. It's, that one event was a disaster. It's just, but it was something that it can't be disputed. And again, we have a version that you haven't seen, but it's magnified. It's magnified, and you can see everything. And she put, for some reason, they put it in 3 times each ballot, and I don't know why, but why? I don't know why 3 times. Why not 5 times, right? But yeah, go ahead.
You're talking about the State Farm video, and I think it's extremely unfortunate that Rudy Giuliani or his people, they sliced and diced that video and took it out of context. So the next day we brought in WSB TV and we let them see the full run of tape. And what you'll see, the events that transpired are nowhere near what was projected by.
But where were the poll watchers, Brad? There were no poll watchers there. There were no Democrats or Republicans. There was no security there. It was late in the evening, or early in the morning, and there was nobody else in the room. Where were the poll watchers? And why did they say a water main broke, which they did, and which is reported in the newspapers? They said they left. They ran out because of a water main break, and there was no water main. There was nothing. There was no break. There was no water main break. But if you take out everything, where were the Republican poll watchers? Even where were the Democrat poll watchers? Because there were none. And then you say, well, they left their station. If you look at the tape, and this was reviewed by professional police and detectives and other people. When they left in a rush, everybody left in a rush because of the water main, but everybody left in a rush. These people left their station. When they came back, they didn't go to their station. They went to the apron wrapped around the table under which were thousands and thousands of ballots in a box.
Does the President of the United States think tablecloths are called aprons? Oh, no.
that was not an official or a sealed box. And then they took those and they went back to a different station. So if they would have come back, they would have walked to their station and they would have continued to work. But they couldn't do even that because that's illegal because they had no Republican poll watchers. And remember, her reputation is devastating. She's known all over the internet, Brett. She's known all over. I'm telling you, where's Ruby was one of the hot items on the Ruby. They knew her. Where's Ruby? So, Brad,
Did he just cite a trending Twitter thing as evidence that a fraud happened? It was trending on Twitter! Fraud secured.
There can be no justification for that. And I give everybody the benefit of the doubt. But that was, and Brad, why did they put the votes in 3 times? They put them in 3 times.
Mr. President, they did not put that. We did an audit of that, and we proved conclusively that they were not scanned 3 times.
Well, where was everybody else at that late time in the morning? Where was everybody? Where were the Republicans? Where
it's like
were
he's
the
trying to
security
gish
guards?
gallop,
Where
but he's
were the
bad
people
at
who were
it?
there just a little while before when everyone ran out of the room? How come we had no security in the room? Why did they run to the bottom of the table? Why did they run there and just open the skirt and rip out the votes? I mean,
is there a law that you have to talk to the president if they call you? Because at this point in the conversation, I'd probably be like, look, Mr. President, we explained to you all of this. There's not any fraud to our knowledge. You already tried lawsuits. If you want to continue and try lawsuits, that's your business. But I have actual work to do, unlike you, apparently. So we're going to go ahead and leave now. Have a good day. And that would be the end of the conversation. Why entertain this for an hour?
Bad. And they were sitting there, I think, for 5 hours or something like that, the most. But they just all happened to run back and go, Brad. Come on.
Yeah, Mr. President, we'll send you the link from WSB that does.
I don't care about a link. I don't need it. I have a much better.
I don't care about your refutations of the things I'm saying. Just do what I say.
Alex, we've watched it, and what we saw and what we've confirmed in the timing is that they made everybody leave. We have sworn affidavits saying that, and then they began to process ballots. And our estimate is that there were roughly 18,000 ballots. We don't know that. If you know that,
there was 18,000 ballots, but they used each one 3 times.
Well,
so
I don't know about that, but I know.
Well, I do because we had ours magnified out. So
we zoomed in.
I've watched the entire thing.
The resolution was terrible. It wasn't
but
like
nobody
CSI
can make a
at
case
all.
For that, Brett. Nobody. I mean, look, you'd have to be a child to think anything other than that. Just a child. I mean, you have your never Trump U.S. attorney
how
there.
How many ballots, Mr. Secretary, are you saying that were processed in?
We had GPI thoroughly investigate that.
We had this is Ryan Germany. We had our law enforcement officers talk to everyone who was there after that event came to light. The GBI was with them as well as FBI agents.
Well, there's no way they could. Then they're incompetent. They're either dishonest or incompetent. Okay, there's only 2 answers: dishonesty or incompetence. There's just no way. Look.
Okay, again, I think this is emblematic of what I'm talking about. They just told him this was investigated by multiple different departments, and we found no signs of fraud or irregularities. And Trump's immediate gut response is, then they either must be incompetent or in on the fraud. It doesn't even cross his mind for a second that he could legitimately be wrong. It's impossible for him to be wrong because he's a narcissist. He is not allowed to think that he is wrong. His brain won't let him do it. He arrived at a conclusion first, and nothing ever will change his mind. It's a lot like certain flat earthers. It's very interesting seeing these same themes, these same issues come up time and time again in multiple different cult-like beliefs. It goes down to the personal with narcissists and out to all sorts of other stuff with like flat earthers, people who believe in lizard people, QAnon believers, all sorts of stuff. It's just wild.
Look, there's no way. And on the other thing I said, too, there's no way. I mean, there's no way that these things could have been, you know, you have all these different people that voted, but they don't live in Georgia anymore. What was that number, Clea? That was a pretty good number, too. Yeah.
Well, the number who had registered out of state after they moved from Georgia. And so they had a date when they moved from Georgia. They registered to vote out of state, and then it's like 4,500. I don't have that.
There's nothing funny.
And then they came back in and they voted.
And voted. Yeah.
No, that was a large number, though. It was in the 20s. And, you know, the point
We've
is...
been going through each of those as well, and those numbers that we got, that Ms. Mitchell was just saying, they're not accurate. Everyone we've been through are people that lived in Georgia, moved to a different state, but then moved back to Georgia legitimately. And in many cases...
Really? How many people do that?
So
You mean they moved out and then they said, the hell with it, I'll move back in? You know, it doesn't sound like a
decent number of people. For instance, Jake moved to Idaho for a while. No, that looks terrible. Sorry, you got to get more torso than horns. Jake moved to Idaho for like 2 years and then moved back to Michigan. This kind of thing happens all the time. People move for work or for personal reasons, and then something changes and they go back to where they probably had family and friends and stuff. That happens all the time. Trump has his address currently in Florida, even though he doesn't technically live there, right? Like, people do all sorts of weird stuff with their address changes.
normal. You mean they moved out, and what, they missed it so much that they wanted to move back in? Yeah, it's like, it's crazy.
Well, and they moved back in years ago. This was not like something just before the election. So there's something about that data that it's just not accurate.
Well, I don't know. All I know is that it is certified, and they moved out of Georgia, and they voted. It didn't say they moved back in, Clayton, did it?
No, but I mean, we're looking at the voter register. Again, if you have additional records, we've been asking for that. But you haven't shared any of that with us.
I like that even this lady from the Secretary of State's like, if you have evidence, provide it, and we'll look into it. But they have nothing, so they can't.
You just keep saying you've
But Lita, a lot of it you don't need to be shared. I mean, to be honest, they should share it. They should share it because you want to get to an honest election. I won this election by hundreds of thousands of votes. There's no way I lost Georgia. There's no way. We won by hundreds of thousands of votes. I'm just going by small numbers. When you add them up, they're many times the 11,000. But I won that state by
small
hundreds
numbers.
Of thousands of
when
votes.
you add them up,
now,
they make
do you think
bigger
it's possible
numbers.
That they shredded ballots in Fulton County? Because that's what the rumor is. And also that Dominion took out machines. That Dominion is really moving fast to get rid of their machinery. Do you know anything about that? Because that's illegal.
This is Ryan, Germany. No, Dominion has not moved any machinery out of Fulton County. We're having
but have they moved? Have they moved the inner parts of the machines? And
I like that he goes from Dominion's moving a bunch of stuff out of Fulton County, and the Secretary of State's like, no, they're not. And then Trump goes, are they moving the interior of the machines? Like the Secretary of State just thinks, oh, you mean the shell casings on the outside? Well, they've been moving the inside, but not the... No. Goalpost moving. It's all they know how to do.
That's right.
Replace them with other parts.
No.
You sure, Ryan?
I'm sure, Mr. President.
And what about the ballots? The shredding of the ballots. Have they been shredding ballots?
No. The only investigation that we have into that, they have not been shredding any ballots. There was an issue in Cobb County where they were doing normal, office shredding, getting rid of old stuff.
There's nothing funny
and
about
we
the tools of
investigated that. So this is stuff from, past elections.
Oh, I don't know.
That's what it turned out to be.
It doesn't pass the smell test, though, because we hear they're shredding thousands and thousands of ballots.
I
now
heard
what
it
they're
on
saying,
Twitter.
we're just cleaning up the office. I don't think that plays.
Mr. President, the problem you have with social media, people can say anything.
No, this isn't social media. This is Trump media. It's not social media. It's really not. It's not social.
It's not social media. It's Trump media. What?
Social media. I don't care about social. But I couldn't care less. Social media is big tech. Big tech is on your side. I don't even know why you have a side, because you should want to have an accurate election. And you're a Republican.
We believe that we do have an accurate election.
No, you don't. No, you don't. You don't have. Not even.
The best retort. I do declare. No, you don't. Okay, cool.
Close. You're off by hundreds of thousands of votes, and just on the small numbers, you're off on these numbers, and these numbers can't be judged. Well, why won't? Okay, so you send us into Cobb County for signature verification, right? You send us into Cobb County, which we didn't want to go into, and you said it would be open to the public, and we could have so we had our experts there. They weren't allowed into the room. But we didn't want Cobb County. We wanted Fulton County, and you wouldn't give it to us. Now, why aren't we doing signature, and why can't it be open to the public, and why can't we have professionals do it instead of rank amateurs that will never find anything and don't want to find anything? They don't want to find. They don't want to find anything. Someday you'll tell me the reason why, because I don't understand your reasoning. But someday you'll tell me the reason why. But why don't you want to find?
Why do you think this person will ever talk to you again?
What?
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, okay, so why did you do Cobb County? We didn't even we requested Fulton County, not Cobb County.
Well, Mr. President, we did have our
Cobb
election
County.
contest.
Go ahead, please. Go ahead.
We chose Cobb County because that was the only county where there's been any evidence submitted that the signature verification was not properly done.
Well, no, but I told you, but we're not saying that. We are
we did say
the
that.
we're the aggrieved party. Fulton County, look, Stacy, in my opinion, Stacy is as dishonest as they come. She has outplayed you at every heart, at everything. She got you to sign a totally unconstitutional agreement, which is a disastrous agreement. You can't check signatures. You can't do. I can't imagine you're allowed to do harvesting, I guess, in that agreement. That agreement is a disaster for this country. But she got you somehow to sign that thing, and she's outsmarted you at every step. And I hate to imagine what's going to happen on Monday or Tuesday, but it's very scary to people, where the ballots flow in out of nowhere. It's very scary to people. That consent decree is a disaster. It's a disaster. A very good lawyer who examined it said they've never seen anything like it. And
harvesting is still illegal in the state of Georgia, and that settlement agreement did not change that.
Well, it's not a settlement agreement. It's a consent decree. It even says consent decree on it, doesn't it? It uses the term consent decree. It doesn't say settlement agreement. It's a consent decree. It's a disaster.
It's a settlement agreement.
What's written on top of it?
Ryan?
I don't have it in front of me, but it was not entered by the court. It's not a court order.
No, it's called. But Ryan, it's called the consent decree. Is that right on the paper? Is that right?
I don't believe so. But I don't have it in front of me.
Okay. Whatever. It's a disaster. It's a disaster. Look, here's the problem. We can go through signature verification, and we'll find hundreds of thousands of signatures if you let us do it. And the only way you can do it, as you know, is to go to the past. But you didn't do that in Cobb County.
The very fair way to hold elections is to let one of the people running for office verify what ballots are and are not valid. That's very reasonable and not at all how you get dictatorships. You're nailing it.
You just looked at one page compared to another. The only way you can do a signature verification is go from the one that signed it on November, whatever, recently, and compare it to 2 years ago, 4 years ago, 6 years ago, or even one. And you'll find that you have many different signatures. But in Fulton, where they dumped ballots, you will find that you have many that aren't even signed, and you have many that are forgeries. Okay? You know that. You know that. You have no doubt about that. And you will be at 11,779 within minutes, because Fulton County is totally corrupt, and so is she totally corrupt. And they're going around playing you and laughing at you behind your back, Brad. Whether you know it or not, they're laughing at you. And you've taken a state that's a Republican state, and you've made it almost impossible for a Republican to win because of cheating, because they cheated like...
Gee, between Republicans and Democrats, who consistently tries to make it harder for people to vote? Hint. It's the red one.
Nobody's ever cheated before. And I don't care how long it takes me. We're going to have other states coming forward pretty good. But I won't. This is never given. We have some incredible talent said they've never seen anything. Now, the problem is they need more time for the big numbers, but they are very substantial numbers. And I think you're going to find that they, by the way, a little information, I think you're going to find that they are shredding ballots because they have to get rid of the ballots because the ballots are unsigned. The ballots are corrupt. And they're brand new and they don't have seals. And there's a whole thing with the ballots, but the ballots are corrupt. And you're going to find that they are, which is totally illegal. It's more illegal for you than it is for them because you know what they did and you're not reporting it.
He's just saying nothing. He's just
criminal.
Corrupt, invalid,
you can't let
bogus.
That happen. That's a big risk
Disaster.
to you and to Ryan, your lawyer. That's a big risk. But they are shredding ballots, in my opinion, based on what I've heard, and they are removing machinery, and they're moving it as fast as they can, both of which are criminal fines, and you can't let it happen, and you are letting it happen. I'm notifying you that you're letting it happen. So, look, all I want to do is this. I just want to find 11,780 votes, which is one more than we have, because we won the state, and flipping the state is a great testament to our country, because, there's just, it's a testament that they can admit to a mistake, or whatever you want to call it, if it was a mistake. I don't know. A lot of people think it wasn't a mistake. It was much more criminal than that. But it's a big problem in Georgia, and it's not a problem that's going away. I mean, it's not a problem that's going away. And we got to...
President, this is Ryan. We're looking into every one of those things that you mentioned.
Okay,
and our
that's
investigators,
good. But if you find them, you got to say it, Ryan. Look, if they're... Let me ask you, Ryan, if they're destroying ballots...
Let me tell you what we are seeing.
Go ahead. Good.
What we're seeing is not at all what you're describing.
Okay.
And these are investigators from our office. These are investigators from GBI, and they're looking and they're good, and that's not what they're seeing. And we'll keep looking. We'll keep looking at all these things.
Well, you better check on the ballots because they are shredding ballots, Ryan. I'm just telling you, Ryan. They're shredding ballots, and you should look at that very carefully because that's so illegal. You may not even believe it because it's so bad, but they're shredding ballots because they think we're going to eventually get there because we'll eventually get into Fulton. It's in my opinion, it's never too late. So little double sound act. So that's the story, fellas. Look, we need only 11,000 votes. We have far more than that as it stands now. We'll have more and more. And do you have provisional ballots at all, Brad? Provisional ballots?
Provisional ballots are allowed, by state law.
Sure, but do you have them? I mean, are they counted, or did you just hold them back because they, in other words, how many provisional ballots do you have in the state?
We'll get you that number.
Because most of them are made out to the name Trump, because these are people that were scammed
He has no citation or reason to believe that most provisional ballots are for Trump.
That's right, capitalistic propaganda.
Why would he assume that?
When they came in, and we have thousands of people that have testified or that want to testify, when they came in, they were proudly going to vote on November 3rd, and they were told, I'm sorry, you've already been voted for, you've already voted.
You've already been voted
men
for?
Started screaming, no, I proudly voted till November 3rd. They said, I'm sorry, but you already been voted for, and you have a ballot. And these people are beside themselves. So they went out and they filled in a provisional ballot, putting the name Trump on it. And what about that batch of military ballots that came in, and even though I won the military by a lot, it was 100% Trump. Do you know? I mean, 100% Biden.
He didn't win the military by a lot, actually. It was surprising. But what was I going to say? This is what frustrates me about this call. I mean, there are a lot of things that frustrate me about this call, obviously. But more so than anything else is like, even if Trump won Georgia, he would still lose! He would still lose the election! Why is he wasting everyone's time? This is an hour of these people's lives that they will never get back, and that we will never get back. Ah, it's so stupid. This is the importance of accepting loss, kids. It's a life skill you need to have.
Do you know about that? A large group of ballots came in, I think it was to Fulton County, and they just happened to be 100% for Trump, for Biden, even though Trump won the military by a lot, a tremendous amount. But these ballots were 100% for Biden. And you know about that? A very substantial number came in, all for Biden. Does anybody know about it?
I know about it, but we were never.
Okay, Cleta, wait. I'm not asking you, Cleta, honestly. I'm asking Brad. Do you know about the military ballots that we have confirmed now? Do you know about the military ballots that came in that were 100%? I mean, 100% for Biden. Do you know about that?
I don't know about that. I do know that we have, when military ballots come in, it's not just military. It's also military and overseas citizens. The military part of that does generally go Republican. The overseas citizen part of it generally goes very Democrat.
No, but this was
a mix of them.
Yeah, that's okay. But I got like 78% in the military. These ballots were all for this. They didn't tell me overseas. Could be overseas too, but I get votes overseas too, Ryan. In all fairness. No, they came in. A large batch came in, and it was quote 100% for Biden, and that is criminal. That's criminal. Okay, that's another criminal. That's another of the many criminal events. Many criminal events here. I don't know. Look, Brad, I have to find 12,000 votes, and I have them times a lot, and therefore I won the state. That's before we go to the next step, which is in the process of right now, And I watched you this morning, and you said, well, there was no criminality, but I mean, all of this stuff is very dangerous stuff. When you talk about no criminality, I think it's very dangerous for you to say that. I just don't know why you don't want to have the votes counted as they are. Like even you, when you went and did that check, and I was surprised because, I didn't consider the check, and we found a few thousand votes that were against me. I was actually surprised because the way that check was done, all you're doing is recertifying existing votes. And, you were given votes and you just counted them up, and you still found 3,000 that were bad. That was sort of surprising. That came down to 3 or 5. I don't know, a lot. Still a lot of votes. But you have to go back to check from past years with respect to signatures. And if you check with Fulton County, you'll have hundreds of thousands because they dumped ballots into Fulton County and the other county next to it. So what are we going to do here, folks? I only need 11,000 votes. Fellas, I need 11,000 votes. Give me a break. We have that in spades already, or we can keep it going. But that's not fair to the voters of Georgia because they're going to see what happened. And they're going to see what...
They've already recounted Georgia. They've done audits in multiple districts. He just cannot accept that he lost.
What happened? I mean, I'll take on anybody you want with regard to Ruby Freeman and her lovely daughter. A very lovely young lady, I'm sure. But Ruby Freeman, I will take Freeman. I will take on anybody you want. And the minimum, there were 18,000 ballots, but they used them 3 times. So that's, a lot of votes. And that one event, and they were all to Biden, by the way. That's the other thing we didn't say. The Ruby Freeman, one thing I forgot to say, which was the most important. Do you know that every single ballot she did went to Biden? You know that, right? Do you know that, by the way, Brett? Every single ballot that she did through the machine at early in the morning went to Biden. Did you know that, Ryan?
That's not accurate, Mr. President.
Huh. What is accurate?
That you lost. How hard must it be for him to not just go, that you lost right here? What's accurate would be to say that you lost the presidency. You suck. Like, what's he gonna do? What's he gonna do? Is he gonna have you murdered for that? Maybe. But...
the numbers that we are showing are accurate.
No, about Ruby Freeman, about early in the morning, Ryan, when the woman took when the whole gang took the stuff from under the table, right? Do you know do you know who those ballots, do you know who they were made out to? Do you know who they were voting for?
No, not specifically.
Did you ever check?
Yeah, that's when we counted the vote. That was the check.
We did what I described to you earlier.
No. Did you ever check the ballots that were scammed by Ruby Freeman, a known political operative balloteer? Did you ever check who those votes were for?
Balloteer?
We've looked into that situation that you described.
No, they were 100% for Biden. 100%. There wasn't a Trump vote in the whole group. Why don't you want to find this, Ryan? What's wrong with you? I heard your lawyer is very difficult, actually, but I'm sure you're a good lawyer. You have a nice last name. But
there's nothing funny about the
I'm
tools
just
of
curious.
capitalism.
Why do you keep fighting this thing? It just doesn't make sense. We're way over the 17,779.
We're almost at the fart.
Right? We're way over that number. And if you took just Ruby Freeman, we're over that number by five or six
His last
times
name
when
is
you multiply it
Germany.
out times 3. And
Okay.
every single ballot went to Biden. And you didn't know that, but now you know it. So tell me, Brad, what are we going to do? We won the election, and it's not fair to take it away from us like this. And it's going to be very costly.
Hold on. Oh, no, Joe Biden won the election, actually. Glad I could correct the president.
In many ways. And I think you have to say that you're going to re-examine it, and you can re-examine it, but re-examine it with people that want to find answers, not people that don't want to find answers.
AKA, let us recount the votes because we, working for Donald Trump, are clearly the most unbiased people to decide who wins the election.
For instance, I'm hearing Ryan, and he's probably, I'm sure, a great lawyer and everything, but he's making statements about those ballots that he doesn't know. But he's making them with he did make them with surety, but now I think he's less sure because the answer is they all went to Biden. And that alone wins us the election by a lot. So.
Mr. President, you have people that submit information, and we have our people that submit information, and then it comes before the court, and the court then has to make a determination. We have to stand by our numbers. We believe our numbers are right.
Why do you say that, though? I don't know. I mean, sure, we can play this game with the courts, but why do you say that? First of all, they don't even assign us a judge. But why wouldn't you, hey, Brad, why wouldn't you want to check out Ruby Freeman, and why wouldn't you want to say, hey, if in fact President Trump is right about that, then he wins the state of Georgia, just that one incident alone, without going through hundreds of thousands of drop ballots. You just say you stick by, I mean, I've been watching you you don't care about anything. Your numbers are right. But your numbers aren't right. They're really wrong. And they're really wrong, Brad. And I know this phone call's going nowhere other than ultimately, look, ultimately I win, okay? Because you guys are so wrong, and you've treated the population of Georgia so badly. Between you and your governor, who was down at 21, he was down 21 points, and like a schmuck, I endorsed him and he got elected. But I will tell you, he's a disaster, and he'll never. I can't imagine. The people are so angry in Georgia. I can't imagine he's ever getting elected again. I'll tell you that much right now. But why wouldn't you want to find the right answer, Brad, instead of keep saying that the numbers are right? Because those numbers are so wrong.
Mr. Secretary, Mr. President, I mean, one of the things that we have been, Alex can talk about this, we've talked about it, and I don't know whether the information has been conveyed to your office, but I think what the President's saying and what we've been trying to do is to say, look, the court is not acting on our petition. They haven't even assigned a judge. But the people of Georgia and the people of America have a right to know the answers. And
we know the answer. We've known for a while. Y'all are just on a completely different page because you can't accept reality because your boss is like the king of narcissists. Luckily, that's the only thing he'll ever be a king of, so that's nice.
You have data and records that we don't have access to. And you keep telling us and making public statements that you've investigated this and, nothing to see here. But we don't know about that. All we know is what you tell us. What I don't understand is why it wouldn't be in everyone's best interest to try to get to the bottom, compare the numbers. If you say, but to try to be able to get to the truth, and that because we don't have any way of confirming what you're telling us. You tell us that you've had an investigation of the State Farm Arena. I don't have any report. I've never seen a report of investigation. I don't know what that is. I've been pretty involved in this. I don't know. And that's just one of 25 categories. And it doesn't even...
We're almost to the supposed fart. I'm excited. That's the only thing I'll be interested in listening to for this hour-long video.
And as the President said, we haven't even gotten into the Dominion issue. That's not part of our case. It's not part of... We just didn't feel as though we had any way to be able to develop...
No, we do have a way, but I don't want to get into it.
Exactly.
Because we found a way in other states, later, excuse me, but we don't get into it.
Exactly.
Because we found a way in other states, later, excuse me.
Maybe. It's not clear enough.
But we don't need it because we're only down 11,000 votes, so we don't even need it. I personally think they're corrupt as hell, but we don't need that because all we have to do, Clayton, is find 11,000 plus votes.
Yeah, they don't exist. You lost. You're basically asking for them to manufacture votes for you. You're asking them to commit election fraud.
So we don't need that. I'm not looking to shake up the whole world. We won Georgia easily. We won it by hundreds of thousands of votes. But if you go by basic, simple numbers, we won it easily. So we're not giving Dominion a pass on the record.
Right, exactly.
But we just don't, we don't need Dominion because...
I'm so glad this is almost over.
We have so many other votes that we don't need to prove it any more than we already have.
Mr. President, Cleta, this is Kurt Hilbert, if I might interject here for a moment. Ryan, I would like to suggest that just 4 categories that have already been mentioned by the president that have actually hard numbers of 24,149 votes that were counted illegally. That in and of itself is sufficient to change the result or place the outcome in doubt. We would like to just sit down with your office, and we can do it through purposes of compromise and settlement, just like this phone call, just to deal with that limited category of votes. And if you are able to establish that our numbers are not accurate, then fine. However, we believe that they are accurate. We've had now 3 to 4 separate experts look at these numbers. These numbers are based upon the USPS.
And certified accountants looked at them.
Correct. And this is just based on USPS data and your own Secretary of State data. So that's what we would entreat and ask you to do, to sit down with us in a compromise and settlement proceeding, and actually go through the registered voter IDs and the registrations. And if you can convince us that that 24,149 is inaccurate, then fine. But we tend to believe that that is, obviously more than 11,779. That's sufficient to change the result entirely in and of itself. So what would you say to that, Mr. Germany?
Kurt, I'm happy to. I'll get with our lawyers and we'll set that up. That number is not accurate, and I think we can show you for all the ones we've looked at why it's not. And so if that would be helpful, I'm happy to get with our lawyers and set that up with you guys.
Well, let me ask you, Kurt. Kurt, you think that is an accurate number? That was based on the information given to you by the Secretary of State's Department, right?
That is correct. That information is the minimum, most conservative data based upon the USPS data and the Secretary of State's office data that has been made publicly available. We do not have the internal numbers from the Secretary of State, yet we have asked for it 6 times. I've sent a letter over to Mr. Anulowicz several times requesting this information, and it's been rebuffed every single time. So it stands to reason that if the information is not forthcoming, there's something to hide. That's the problem that we have.
Well, that's not the case. There are things that you guys are entitled to get, and there's things that under law we are not allowed to give out.
Well, you have to. Well, under law, you're not allowed to give faulty election results, okay? You're not allowed to do that, and that's what you've done. This is a faulty election result. And honestly, this should go very fast. You should meet tomorrow because you have a big election coming up, and because of what you've done to the president, the people of Georgia know that this was a scam. And because of what you've done to the president, a lot of people aren't going out to vote. And a lot of Republicans are going to vote negative because they hate what you did to the president.
One can only hope. I hope this is the one thing Donald Trump has ever been right about. I hope that Republicans choose to stay home for the runoffs.
Okay? They hate it. And they're going to vote. And if you would be respected, if this thing could be straightened out before the election. You have a big election coming up on Tuesday.
If you could just find me some votes somewhere, I'd maybe owe you a favor. Maybe some good things would happen, come your way,
And therefore, I think that it really is important that you meet tomorrow and work out on these numbers. Because I know, Brad, that if you think we're right, I think you're going to say, and I'm not looking to blame anybody. I'm just saying that, under new counts and under new views of the election results, we won the election. It's all, it's very simple. We won the election.
That's simple to say. That's 4 words. We won the election. But you haven't demonstrated that, and all evidence, including recounts and audits, point to the fact that you lost. So, no, just saying things doesn't make them true.
As the governor of major states and the surrounding states said, there is no way you lost Georgia. As the Georgia politicians say, there is no way you lost Georgia. Everyone knows I won it by hundreds of thousands of votes. But I'll tell you, it's going to have a big impact on Tuesday if you guys don't get this thing straightened out fast.
There's nothing funny about the tools of
Well,
capitalism.
Mr. President, this is Mark. Let me just, it sounds like we've got 2 different sides agreeing that we can look at those areas, and I assume that we can do that within the next 24 to 48 hours to go ahead and get that reconciled so that we can look at the two claims and making sure that we get the access to the Secretary of State's data to either validate or invalidate the claims that have been made. Is that correct?
So that's not what I said. I'm happy to sit down with, or have our lawyers sit down with Kurt and the lawyers on that side and explain to him, hey, here's, based on what we've looked at so far, here's how we know this is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong.
So what you're saying, Ryan, hold on, let me make sure. So what you're saying is you really don't want to give access to the data. You just want to make another case on why the lawsuit is wrong?
I don't think we can give access to data that's protected by law. But we can sit down with them and say,
but
hey,
you're allowed to have a phony election? You're allowed to have a phony election, right?
No, sir.
When are you going to do the signature counts on when are you going to do
It's almost done, guys. There's only 4 minutes left. I know. This has been very long.
Signature verification on Fulton County, which you said you were going to do, and now all of a sudden you're not doing it. When are you doing that?
We are going to do that. We've announced.
To get to this issue of the personal information and privacy issue, is it possible that the Secretary of State could deputize the lawyers for the president so that we could access that information, that private information?
What the fuck? Can you deputize the lawyers of the president so we can legally look at your files? What the fuck?
Information without you having any kind of violation.
Well, I don't want to know who it is. You guys can do it very confidentially. You can sign a confidentiality agreement. That's okay. I don't need to know names.
All right,
but we got the information on this stuff that we're talking about. We got all that information from the Secretary of State.
Yeah, so let me recommend, Ryan, if you and Kurt will get together, when we get off of this phone call, if you could get together and work out a plan to address some of what we've got with your attorneys, where we can actually look at the data. For example, Mr. Secretary, I can tell you, you said there was only 2 dead people that would vote. I can promise you there are more than that, and that may be what your investigation shows, but I can promise you there are more than that. But at the same time, I think it's important that we go ahead and move expeditiously to try to do this and resolve it as quickly as we possibly can. And if that's the good next step, hopefully we can finish this phone call and go ahead and agree that the 2 of you will get together immediately.
Well, why don't my lawyers show you where you got the information? It'll show the Secretary of State, and you don't even have to look at any names. We don't want names. We don't care. But we got that information from you. And Stacey Abrams is laughing about, she's going around saying these guys are dumber than a rock. What she's done to this party is unbelievable, I tell you. And I only ran against her once, and that was with a guy named Brian Kemp, and I beat her. And if I didn't run, Brian wouldn't have had even a shot, either in the general or in the primary. He was dead as a doornail. He never thought he had a shot at either one of them. What a schmuck I was. But that's the way it is. That's the way it is. I would like you to, for the attorneys on my side, I'd like you to perhaps meet with Ryan, ideally tomorrow, because I think we should come to a resolution of this before the election. Otherwise, you're going to have people just not voting. They don't want to vote. They hate the state.
The election is tomorrow, the runoff, for the record.
They hate the governor, and they hate the Secretary of State. I will tell you that right now. And the only people that like you are people that will never vote for you. You know that, Brad, right? They like you, They like you. They can't believe what they found. They want more people like you. So look, can you get together tomorrow? And Brad, we just want the truth. It's simple. And
that is the truth of Trump winning. If the truth is that Trump lost, then that's not the truth, because by definition, he is defining the truth as Trump winning. Narcissist brains. They're wild.
And everyone's going to look very good if the truth comes out. It's okay. It takes a little while, but let the truth come out. And the real truth is I won by 400,000 votes, at least. That's the real truth. But we don't need 400,000 votes. We need less than 2,000 votes. And are you guys able to meet?
Less than 2,000. You're down by 10-something in Georgia.
Tomorrow, Ryan?
I'll get with Chris.
Did Trump really just... Can I call you tomorrow and yell at you for another hour? No, please don't, Mr. President.
The lawyer who's representing us in the case and see when he can get together with Kurt.
All right.
Ryan will be in touch with the other attorney on this call, Mr. Meadows. Thank you, President Trump, for your time.
Okay, thank you, Brad. Thank you, Ryan. Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Bye.
President.
Absolutely wild. It's not that I'm surprised, because can I really even be surprised at this point by any of the shit Trump does? But yeah, he is going out of his mind because I think for the first time in his life he's being told no. I mean that. This is the first time in his entire life he is being told no, you can't have what you want. And he doesn't know how to handle it because he's almost 80 years old and he's never been told no. He's like the purple man from Jessica Jones. Like, he's just never not gotten his way, so he doesn't understand how to deal with people when he has to compromise, when he has to deal with people telling him no. It's crazy. So, this court hereby rules that was some wild shit. Case dismissed. Oh, we got a bunch of bit messages to get through before we get to the next thing. Tyoxial with 30 bits. Twitter light mode, a travesty. Make it dark. I demand it with my 30 bits. I'll switch to dark mode at some point. Stone Corbell with 20 bits. This is like when you're forced to listen to your grandparent ramble about something you know they're wrong about, except it's the president. Yeah. The Shadow Witch with 45 bits. I may have to watch the Reds and Craig live for one, so here's the rest of my bits. Also, you made 2020 bearable, and I thank you for being you. Much loved. Signed, my cis white ass. Love you, girl. Thank you. Moothil with 20 bits. Oh, Mia Phil, rather. Sorry. The Creeping Darkness with 20 bits. To be fair, he's bad at everything. True. Newme92, thank you for resubscribing with a 4-month streak. The Mightiest Quinn with 50 bits. Quinity. Great. Quinity. Amoramiku, thank you for resubscribing with a 6-month streak with a bunch of Rem Lazar emotes. Poet Lover 072 with 20 bits. I love how Trump can say all this garbage, but his crack legal team can't prove it in courts that have Trump-appointed judges in them. It's like he's just making stuff up, but that can't be true, can it? A president that lies? No. Andrew Batella with 20 bits. Small numbers. When you add them up, they make bigger numbers. So Trump does believe in mathematical induction. Prabsy, thank you for following. Lord Cuckbucket with 50 bits. It's a rumor I heard on Trump media, so it must be true. Now answer me, and you better only say what I want to hear. Comfy Bruh, thank you for resubscribing with a 2-month streak. Poet Lover, the evidence does need to be shared in court, and it wasn't. The Atheist Brony, thank you for subscribing at Tier 2. The Atheist Brony with 500 bits. Remember when they said non-residents of Nevada were voting and it turned out to be veterans serving overseas? Any chance this people moved out of Georgia bullshit is the same thing? It was similar. Basically, the Secretary of State people said it was people moving out and then moving back, so... Jake's streaming. I know.
Right,
I told him that I was going to... Because we recorded today, so I'm running a little later, so we were going to overlap a little, but it's fine. Don't do it, Hannah. We see you looking at the gavel. Don't hurt yourself over Trump's stupidity. Logarth with 50 bits. Who let Grandpa call the Georgia Secretary of State? The Creeping Darkness with 20 bits. For all the money his family had, I don't think that they ever bought a thesaurus or dictionary, FFS. Dad Beal with 20 bits. This is anti-ASMR, not me, us. Thank you for following. Poet Lover with the more bits. Why would the military like Trump after all the stuff he says about them? Like, Trump is super disrespectful to the military. It's the main reason why he lost Arizona for disrespecting McCain. A lot of military people are pretty right-wing. Shock. Jaradrim with 50 bits. So that's what happens when a pathological liar has to face the music. Sad. Poet Lover with 20 bits. Oh, also, this is my birthday, so this is actually a very fun stream for me. Happy birthday! Kierthin, thank you for resubscribing with a 4-month streak. Just a reminder that you can subscribe to Hannah for free with Twitch Prime. Hey, you used your bits to pimp me out. I appreciate that. The Profane Priestess says, don't tell Jake, but I'm staying for you, Mom. He's not nearly as shiny as me. Look at how entertaining I can pretend to be by distracting you with the shine. Mitchell Drummer with 100 bits. Hannah, I love the horns. You look exactly like Nicole Bolas from Magic the Gathering, and it's amazing. And that was this image. Which is pretty cool. CA Corner with resubscription with a 4-month streak. Innsmouth Swim Team with 100 bits. Hannah's rocking the tinfoil tiefling look. Tin Fling. Andrew Batella with 20 bits. In conclusion, Steal the Count. Eroding, thank you for subscribing. Silk Monkey, thank you for subscribing. Ghetto Kanya with 50 bits. Hannah, you look super heckin' cute. By the way, we voted blue in Georgia. Also, have you seen the Secretary of State's fact check board? No, I haven't. Lord Cuckbucket with 20 bits. How the hell would they know if they all went for Biden with that lady? Yeah, I don't know. It's just conjecture. The Under 92 with 30 bits. The only thing I'm surprised about is that the tape is the fact that a Republican had a shred of decency to record and release it, even if nothing is going to happen from it. I know, it's pretty crazy. Yellow Snowman 14, thank you for the bits. Yellow Snowman 14, thank you for following. Poet Lover with 20 bits. How dare Jake go live now? Logarth with 20 bits. Witness Me, and then Cotton Candy 903 with 20 bits. I just got here and I have to say that you look fabulous today. I love it. Thank you. Okay. So that's the Trump thing. Glad we're done with it. Hold on. Baja texted me. Baja, I read your text. Probably just report him. Report him to YouTube for threats. That'd probably be good. Gee, I wonder who we're talking about. Are we doing John Doyle next? Yeah, we can do John next. Did he make a threat? What's his face did? Marcel Bissett is threatening me on YouTube.
Capitalism.
So, Fluidity, thank you for subscribing with Prime. 4-month streak. Says butts. Okay, nice. Okay, so let's do John Doyle. Alright, so John Doyle is a brand new video. This one's probably going to be pretty yikes. This is going to be entitled, The Truth About the N-Word. I have a feeling this is bait. Might not be, though. Let's take a look.
A gamer's kamikaze. Okay, guys, everyone just calm down. Let's just take this one step at a time. I need you to understand that I understand that there's something inherently funny about a white conservative posting a video entitled The Truth About the N-Word, which is exactly why I did it. Now, that being said, I actually think I have some pretty reasonable takes on the N-Word, and so, you know.
Kinda doubt it, but okay.
No, we should probably
This one's gonna hurt. Can I just put that out there? This one's gonna hurt.
be talking about them since our country is such that simply saying the word when you're a teenager can ruin your life. And the point here is that most people would agree that you shouldn't be saying the N-word. But if you're also going to tell me that we can't even talk about it, well, I'm going to take issue with that because
I don't think anyone says you can't talk about it, particularly if you don't actually use the word, but you use things like the N-word as opposed to actually using the racial slur. However, what usually we're saying, if someone says to you, John, that you shouldn't talk about the N-word, or any racial or ethnic slur of any sort, typically they're just saying you shouldn't talk about that thing with authority as if it's up to you. So for instance, if you're like a white person and you're like, here's my opinion on the use of this racial slur and why I think it's okay, or whatever, you don't really get to decide that. Basically, if a slur is about you, your opinion on it matters, right? If it's not, your opinion doesn't really matter on it very much. You can talk about it, but people rightfully so can look at you and be like, why do I care what you think? It doesn't matter.
There have been so many stories like the one that we're going to talk about today where things happen that are just simply not okay and that wouldn't happen in a serious country. And for those not familiar, basically this teenage girl got her
Hello, kitty.
driver's license back in 2016. She sent a video to a friend via Snapchat in which she said, I can drive, N-word. And then this miserable, effeminate little bitch held onto that video for...
Wow. Okay, John. Hey, kitty, you want to come up? Come up. Hey, John, how about you don't, like, insult the way people look just because they're effeminate, according to you? That'd be cool. That'd be real cool. If you don't like what someone has to say, you can actually talk about them without insulting the way they look. That's generally a good thing to do.
For years before releasing it to the mob so that she would have her life ruined, and she ended up being disinvited from her university where she would have been on their cheer team, which was a dream of hers. And so we will discuss, as a young middle-class white man, the political implications of the N-word, how properly understood this type of outrage is just a virtue signal, how white women are cringe, and my plan for how we can stop
How white women are cringe. Oh, lordy lord.
this type of stuff from happening in the future, so do stay tuned.
John Doyle in. Heck off,
There we
commie.
go, kitty. Welcome. Hello, kitty.
Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Heck Off Commie. I've decided to betray my former self. I have rejected the white man's focus on keeping a schedule, and for that reason, the much-anticipated anti-pornography dissertation is being pushed back a little bit yet again, and it's literally just because the more I've hyped it up, the more I realize that it has to be perfect, and so
I cannot wait for his anti-pornography video. That's gonna be glorious.
when it's perfect, it will be released. There's still a lot of research left to incorporate. Plus, I've been busy with Christmas, planning the Texas move, new studio, etc. So, you know, part of me wants to apologize for the delay, but the other part of me is inclined to think that if you're mad at me, it's just because you have a hard time delaying gratification because of low impulse control, because you watch pornography. So you should have just listened to me last year. I don't know. That's a joke. We'll get it out shortly, but it's also New Year's Eve. It's the end of the year. I want to have some fun. I want to go out with a bang. And what better way to do that than by literally making a video about the N-word? And again, as weird as it sounds, it's actually a political issue because by definition, anything that makes a claim about how society should function is political. And since there are people who celebrate when other people have their lives ruined for simply saying a word, we should probably talk about it, but I don't think that anyone else has the balls to talk about it. And so here we are. And by the way, if simply
I think a lot of right-wing people have discussed this particular situation you're talking about with the girl getting disinvited from whatever college she applied to or whatever. It's been talked about, but okay. Have your little fantasy, John, of being the most important big dick boy out in the internet who's the only one who can talk about racial issues. Do you?
talking about the N-word, like not even saying it, but just talking about it. If that makes you uncomfortable or you don't think that we should be doing that, you're a coward. You're a coward, and the mob isn't going to spare you. Even if you're a part of it, even if you agree with them, they'll get you too eventually. But before we get started, I just kind of have to establish myself a little bit here. Obviously, we have lots of black fans in the audience. Obviously, I've been given several dozen N-word passes throughout my life, but I just wanted to bring in someone.
Nope, John, don't do it. Don't do it. That would be a very sad way for John's channel to go down if he just straight up started racial slurring. Let's not.
To answer some questions before we dive into this, and I was going to introduce him with his credentials, but apparently all that matters to these people is literally just that he's a black guy, and so take a look.
Donnie, thank you so much for being here with us today as we sort of explore this topic. I did want to get your input on a few questions before we move forward. If at any point you feel as though the questions are too invasive, they're inappropriate, you don't feel comfortable answering, just please let me know. Totally at your discretion. So the first question, is it true that we ended racism?
Yes.
Okay. Am I racist?
No.
It's literally the I have a black friend argument. You're nailing it, John.
Okay. Is it possible for me to be racist?
No.
What?
Who is less racist than me?
That's a trick question. There's no one less racist than you.
Interesting. Okay. Are the people who call me racist, are they just projecting their racism onto me?
I'm not the racist. The people who point out my racism are the real racists. He's getting the greatest hits of total bullshit today, isn't he?
Oh, yes.
Okay. Last question, Donnie. Who are the real racists?
The Democrats.
The Democrats are the real racists. That's incredible. Donnie, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Very epic. We've got the green light, so we'll go through the story first, and I'll kind of interject my takes as we go through it. But first, I'll give you my general take on the N-word, and I've always felt this way about it, which is that I don't think that people should say it. I really don't think that people should say it, and that's just because it's a gross word, so I'm sorry.
Yeah, I would agree.
Hard to disappoint you if you thought that I was going to say it in this video, but I don't think that people should say the N-word or the C-word, because the former is a word that existed to extremely degrade human beings, and it's eternally symbolic of that, and the latter is a word that degrades the thing that creates human life. I just think that's wrong too, but the reason that this is important to discuss is because the commonly held belief is that you can only say the N-word if you're black, which in practice means that you can only say it if you're not white, because for some reason other minority groups can say it with impunity, and maybe they'll say, well,
that's definitely not true.
This is because white people enslaved black people, which is true, but, you know, they were also enslaved by Hispanics. White people bought them from blacks who were already enslaving them. Like, the history kind of makes this complicated, but I get it, you know? I don't even think it matters that much. Like, when we're talking about, well, who gets to say the N-word? And it's like, who cares? The way I see it is that the word has a special connotation with black Americans that white Americans just don't understand, because as much as we'd like to reject identity politics, it's simply a fact that the average black person and the average white person have completely different experiences in this country. And I'm not talking about racism, I'm talking about culture. And so in practice, black people use the N-word as an endearing term given their history and perceivably shared experience in this country, kind of like how, you know, Marines will call each other jarheads, which of course isn't as bad, but the principle is basically the same. Like, hey, let's take this negative and embrace it into a positive. I get that. I still don't think it's good, but am I really going to tell black people they shouldn't say this word that is so central to their culture? No. I don't like hearing black people calling themselves that as though it's empowering, the same way I don't like hearing women call themselves bitches and whores as though that's empowering, which is ironically a consequence of black pop culture, which we'll talk more about in a second. But the point is that, legally speaking, can you say the N-word? Yes. Should you say the N-word? I don't see a reason why anyone should. And this might sound weird, but the only reason that white people are even saying the N-word anymore is because of black people. Because black people dominate pop culture, especially music.
Oh, that's definitely not true, John. You think every time a white person has a heated gamer moment, so to speak, you think that it's entirely based upon the existence of, like, hip-hop and rap music? Really?
Which they always have, especially considering how they influence rock music. That's actually my take on control of the music industry. I think that white people dominated music throughout the latter half of the 20th century, and then when rap music started to become more popular in the mid-2000s, white people got really sad, and that's why we started making the, like, edgy emo rock music. And then
John, I don't know if you know this, but rock and roll was pioneered by non-white folks. Black people invented rock and roll. It was like a progression of jazz and stuff. Do you think that the music of the early 20th century wasn't influenced by black communities in America? Maybe you saw that scene from Back to the Future where Marty McFly wrote Johnny Be Good and he thought it was a documentary.
Rap music became the most popular and white people didn't know what to do. And I think that when we came back with dubstep in the early 2010s, that was like the musical equivalent of just yourself after you die. You know, like, you can laugh, but that's accurate. Dubstep, that was our Hail Mary. But aside from that, this is actually a problem because black people dominate pop culture, and rap music in particular just spams the N-word. And white kids really like rap music. And so when they say that word, it's not because they're trying to be racist, it's because they're trying to participate in the popular culture. And this warrants the question, should simply saying the N-word, just uttering it into the void, should that result in your life being ruined? No, it shouldn't. So let's talk about this girl again. So like 4 years ago, she gets her learner's permit. She's excited. She sends a video to her friend like, I can drive, N-word. And somehow this video ends up getting circulated around the school. This kid who looks like exactly the type of kid that would do something like this, he saves the video just waiting for an opportunity to release it to get her canceled. So fast forward to now. during all the Black Lives Matter activity that stopped for some reason right after the election. This girl's posting on social media in support of the protests, and this kid responds basically like, well, how dare you support the idea that Black Lives Matter if you said the N-word once to a presumably white friend of yours? And then he posts the video. Immediately she gets canceled. She's disinvited from a university, which at the time was the national champion for cheer, which is something that she was going to participate in. Her life is totally screwed because she said the N-word. Not that she called a black person the N-word, not that she said it in front of black people, but that she said it in a private video to a friend of hers. And that's not why she should have been canceled. She should have been canceled because white women try to appropriate black vernacular because they think it's cool, and it's cringe. That's why she should have been canceled. White women listen to black women speak and go, ooh, hee hee, they talk funny. I want to try. Y'all need to stop. It do be like that sometimes. Hee hee, I'm fun. I get to play too. And it's like, yeah, I'm glad she got expelled because she tried to co-opt something that doesn't involve her and she made it cringe. But that being said, that's not why she was canceled, and so I'll still defend her. But the lesson to be learned is that you can never appease the mob. This girl followed the trends on social media, probably due to social pressure, but still, it didn't matter. Someone still tried to ruin her because of a video that was made 4 years ago in which she said the N-word. And so nothing matters. Given that the mob will never back down and that you can never appease them, you may as well stand up to them because eventually they'll come for you too. And it just goes to show how much of a joke this country is, where the worst offense that you can commit is saying a word. Not saying
a word that was used for literal centuries to refer to subjugated individuals who were enslaved because of the color of their skin. Yeah, that's a bad thing to do, John, typically, if you're using it in a derogatory manner. Okay, what's my opinion on the girl getting, like, banned from the college or whatever? I'd need more context. Again, I'm not one to trust John Doyle at face value when he says stuff. If she was legitimately a dumb teenager doing a dumb teenager thing, people change and make mistakes. I know I've, like, made mistakes in the past, and I think it's okay for people to change and accept that they've, you know, grown as people, especially from when they were teenagers. So I totally get that, but yeah, I don't know the whole situation.
Saying it to someone in hatred, just simply saying it. If you do that, the New York Times will publish a piece about you in which they implicitly celebrate the fact that you were canceled. And I'm going to get a lot of crap for just making this video. We're not even saying the word. We're just talking about it. But you can't even talk about it, let alone say it. If you simply say the word, it's like a cheat code. It's like activating the 6-star cheat code in GTA 4. Like, you're done. You're done. And speaking very frankly, we all know that it's not even that big of a deal. Like, I'm not talking about harassing someone. I'm not talking about calling someone a name. But you can literally have your life ruined for just saying the word now. And the reason for that is that it's a virtue signal. To get angry about the N-word being used in completely inconsequential circumstances is a virtue signal.
I think the problem, John, is that you think there are situations where it's not consequential. The use of that word by, like, a white person is always pretty consequential, even though it might not feel like it. Even if you're not doing it in a hateful way intentionally, that word has so much baggage that the choice to use it can imply certain things about you. Again, I'll repeat, if this was a one-off mistake this girl made and she since apologized, especially considering it was years ago, then totally, I get it. They should probably forgive and be like, okay, don't do that again. You've grown up, you've learned that that's not okay. Fine. But again, I don't know the situation. But, like, John, the reason that when we have a discussion about this particular racial slur, we don't actually say the word is to show the impact that word has, right? Just casually throwing it around, even to discuss it itself, I don't know. It feels like trivializing what that word is and what it was used for centuries, right? It's a bad word, John. It's a word that encapsulates, like, centuries of subjugation and mistreatment and being treated not like human beings. It's really, really messed up. There's a reason that level of importance is put around it.
It's to say, what? You said the N-word? I'm so passionate and convicted and educated and concerned about how bad that is. I'm gonna ruin your life now. That's really, like, that's all that is. That's why you'll never see anybody get mad about this without an audience, whether that's social media, whether that's a classroom, it doesn't matter. If you're a white person in a room with only one other person and that person happens to be black and you're, like, rapping a song to yourself and you happen to say the N-word, nothing is going to happen to you. Worst case scenario, they're like, hey man, that's disrespectful. But if you run that same scenario back in a crowd of people, you'll probably get beaten up because it's a virtue signal. And
it's almost like people in groups feel more comfortable taking action than when they're alone in a room with someone else. And also, if you're a white guy and the only other person in the room is like a black guy and you are rapping and you very clearly out loud say the N-word, it would feel intentional. I don't know how else to put it.
It's an offense whose punishment is...
You probably just shouldn't do it.
Only by the extent to which the mob is willing to go. Find me an equal example where any response would be universally permitted. Find me an example where someone could just say something and the social media consensus would be that that person got what they deserved, whether that's just getting beat up or even getting killed. It doesn't...
Anti-Semitic stuff. If you go off spouting like Nazi stuff or doing like the triple brackets dog whistle stuff, that's pretty up there. But again, like, the biggest stain, I think, and there's a lot of stains on American history, but, like, chattel slavery is probably the biggest stain on American history. It's real close with genocide of natives, so I don't know, you know, take your pick on which you think is worse. But, like, there's a reason it's taken very seriously, John.
Exist. And the Jarheads example actually makes more sense than the anti-racism example. Like, it makes more sense to say, hey, you can't say the N-word because you're not a part of this, rather than to say, well, you can't say the N-word because that's racist, right? But even then, none of that warrants violence. And how is that not hypocritical in the first place? Like, for you to dominate the music industry in a predominantly white country, and for you to produce music with those types of words in it, like, are white people expected to consume that media differently than black people?
Yes. Yes. I'm sorry that when you're rapping out loud somewhere, which you shouldn't do anyway, no one wants to hear you rap along to whatever song you're listening to. I don't care what it is. No one wants to hear you rap out loud to something in public, and if you do, no, you should not say the N-word, John. Were you not socialized like at all? Do you not know how human beings work?
We saw something like this happen at a Kendrick Lamar concert. This girl was kicked off stage and booed for simply rapping the song. How is it not racist to say, you can't say this word because you're white? And if you do...
Context, what's that?
We're going to ruin your life and maybe hurt you. How is that not the definition of racism? And even if we go with the new definition of racism, being prejudice and power instead of just prejudice, like, let's not act like white people having more people that look like them in Congress means that they have more power.
I think that does basically mean that, yeah.
If you even think we said the N-word, you can beat the crap out of us and we'll end up refusing to press charges and apologizing to you.
I guess don't say racial slurs then, John? It's not hard.
This girl said the N-word in a private video, someone saved it for years, and then in a matter of 2 days ruined her life with the support of thousands of people in the mainstream media. That's power. That's real power. Which means that if you're prejudiced towards white people by saying that they're not allowed to rap to the same music as you, and you've also got that type of power, boom, you're the real racists. I have defeated you. Pack it up. White people can't be racist. It's impossible. It's impossible. Our countries are the most tolerant and accepting countries on the planet. We have the lowest in-group preference. We're just not racist. We just don't have it in us. And now even gay people, they're trying to say, well, you can't say our slur if you're not gay too, which is just them yet again trying to capitalize on the momentum of black movements. Like, are we really...
Or don't say the F slur or the T slur, John, because it's rude. What are you doing?
Supposed to pretend that the plight
they just want to say slurs so bad
of the homosexual has been equal to the plight of the black American in this country? No, not even remotely close. But yeah, that's the take on that. Basically, the only reason anyone cares about the N-word is to virtue signal. 99% of the time white people say it is just to try to emulate black culture, which is cringe but not worthy of ruining their lives. Verbal
How about the other 10%, John? You just said 90%. What's the other 10%? That seems important.
Degradation is not empowering, and you will never appease the mob. But that being said, there is a solution to this. It's like in Fight Club. When they erase the debt, everyone's back to zero, everyone's equal. We just need to, everyone record a video of themselves saying the N-word and post it online. It's the only way that we can move forward as a country. So
you first! You first!
So any white liberals watching, you guys go ahead, go first. Me and the boys are going to hang back for a second so we don't steal the spotlight, since, you know, we just got into this whole social justice thing, whereas you guys have been at it for years, doing great work. So yeah, white liberals, we need to understand that we're all equally guilty and racist, and the only way to do that is all of us posting a video of ourselves saying the N-word. So again, you guys get started, me and the boys will catch up, and then the mob will dissolve, and the country will finally be healed. Very epic. Hey guys, if you like this video, leave it a thumbs up, leave it a comment, subscribe to the channel, turn on post.
That felt slapped together, even relative to other John Doyle videos. I feel like he barely put any work into this one. I don't know. Maybe my standards for John are too high, but this one just felt lazy. And he just feels like he's really upset he can't say slurs.
Notifications so that you are notified when I post, and of course, share the video with a friend. Very epic, New Year's Eve mode. Very epic. You guys gotta be careful, you know? On New Year's Eve, when girls text you and they're like, hey, what are you doing tonight? Hey, you should come over. Hey, any plans? You gotta be careful. They're just trying to take advantage of you. That's what that means. You think you're just going over to their house, you know, to play Mario Kart or whatever, to watch the ball drop, or, you know, but then, you know, 11:59, they start giving you eyes, and you're like, I don't know what you think is going to happen, but I did not consent to this. I consented to Mario Kart. I consented to ping pong or whatever. Got to be careful. Got to stay sharp. Got to stay sharp. But anyways, thank you so much for watching. May God bless America. We'll see you next year. Ka-chow.
I'm glad John has a healthy fantasy life where people invite him places. That's probably good for his mental health. John. So that's John Doyle. I'm gonna rule this one cringe. This is very cringe. Case dismissed. Okay, let me get to these bit messages. Logarth says, witness me. Cotton Candy 903 says, I just got here and I have to say that you look fabulous today. I love it. Thank you. Fluidity, thank you for resubscribing with a 4-month streak. Poet Lover 72 with 20 bits. D'Angelo Wallace had a good video about this today. Poet Lover, again, research, aka getting a Pornhub account. Logarth with 20 bits. $5 says he spent $5 on Fiverr to get this guy on his show. Roll Punk, thank you for following. Cotton Candy 903 with 20 bits. This one black person agrees with me, so therefore I must be correct. Poet Lover 72 with 20 bits. Rappers don't say the word with the hard R. This girl did. The guy brought it up to his university before, and when no one did anything about it, he made the video public. Way to get every detail wrong, John. Towing 24. I didn't expect that John would take the mask off by saying the N-word, but take the mask off in that white women should not sully their pure white mouths with ebonics. Yeah, yikes. Logarth saying the N-word with nobody in the room except maybe a black person. You're going to maybe accidentally trip into a wall a few times and maybe slip and fall onto the floor. Ender 92, do you think John is aware his mask is slipping off, or at this point is the coping, has he lost it? I don't know. I'll have to observe more as the months go on to see if he continues or what. CA Coroner with 20 bits. This is why people don't want you to talk about the N-word, John. Poet Lover. An extremely small amount of people think it's okay to beat up people who say the N-word. They mostly just socially ostracize people who say it because, you know, the free marketplace of ideas is a thing. Say Autumn. Thank you for following. And Towing 24. Thank you for the 20 bits. So Terrence K. Williams is at it again. Terrence K. Williams being the MAGA comedian whose entire career is basically built off just terrible jokes, I guess, about Trump. And he's still desperately coping from the election loss. So let's see what his recent videos on his channel have been, so we can take a look and see how he's doing. The last few had been barely incognito ads for a gold company or something. I'm curious if we'll throw that in here too.
Shaking my head. This is absolutely disgusting. This is downright disgusting. Disgraceful. Disgraceful. They don't care about the American people. They don't. Before I continue, and I'm glad I'm bringing this up anyway. And I'm glad that this video is sponsored by Noble Gold. Because Noble Gold can help you protect everything you worked hard for. Noble Gold can help you protect your retirement with real physical silver and gold. These Democrats, these Republicans, these politicians, they don't care about you making money.
Yeah, this is a seamless transition into the ad content. Is he still not marking these as paid for? Because that's illegal. You're not allowed to, like, not say it's sponsored content when it clearly is.
They don't care about you making money. These people...
It's that scene from A Christmas Story. Make sure to drink your Ovaltine. It's nothing but a crummy ad.
won't even listen to President Trump. The president said give the American people $2,000.
So did the Democrats in the House and the Senate, actually. You should be mad at Mitch McConnell.
And they don't want to give the American people $2,000. But they can give these other countries money. So y'all can give Egypt money. Egypt don't deserve our damn dollar. Y'all can give, who else money? China. Japan. Who else they give? I don't know who they giving money to. They giving money to everybody but Americans. I'm trying to figure out, why is Israel getting money? Why is Egypt getting money? Why is Europeans getting our money? Why are these other countries getting our money when we are the ones who need it, the American people? These people have lost their everlasting mind. This is exactly why we need term limits. This is exactly why people need to be careful. People need to be careful for who they vote for. We are now seeing, don't none of them care about the American people, that they are putting other countries before us. They put China before America.
His long pauses between sentences are so frustrating. It's like he doesn't know where his, video is going. He just needs to get it long enough that it can pretend to be a real video and not just an ad. So he, has to take a second to be like, what's my next thing? Michael Scott, sometimes I start a sentence and I have no idea where it's going, or whatever Michael Scott said.
They put other countries before this country. And if you are not pissed off about this, then you lost in the sauce. Next go round, Terrence K. Williams will not be voting for half of these people or supporting half of these people I supported this year in 2020. It won't happen again. Now I see who are the real rhinos. Now I see who are the corrupt swamp creatures.
Cool. Ooh, he has one against Mitch McConnell. Yay.
Every time I look at you, I think about term limits. Every time I look at you, Mitch McConnell, you make me sick to my stomach. How dare you? How dare you put the American people last? How dare you forget about President Trump after all he has done for you? Oh yeah, he helped you get reelected. President Trump is the main reason why you won. He got out there and told people to vote for
Mitch McConnell's been in the Senate for 30 years. I think without Trump, he still would have been reelected, but okay.
you. But you know what? He shouldn't have done that. Oh, he should not have told people to re-elect you. Your time is up, Mitch McConnell. You've been in office too long.
About the tools of capitalism.
You should have never been reelected because you don't even want to stand up for President Trump. Before I keep on going, everybody, this video is sponsored by Noble Gold. Noble Gold can help you more than Mitch McConnell ever can. Noble Gold can help you protect your money while Mitch McConnell tries to take your money and not give the American people money, but give other countries money. Noble Gold can help you protect everything you worked hard for. They can help you protect your retirement with real physical silver and gold. Give Noble Gold a call at 877-646-5347 or click the link in this video description. Give Noble Gold a call. Now back to you, Mitch McConnell. Why don't you be noble and do something for the American people? Why don't you be noble and fight for President Trump? How dare you tell Republicans not to fight for him? How dare you tell Republicans not to object? So you are okay with the Democrats cheating? You are okay with them stealing this election from President Trump and the American people? So you cool with that, Mitchy Mitch? Mitch, you ain't nothing but a straight up, you know what I want to say, but I'm going to keep it clean. You make me sick to my stomach. This is exactly why we need term limits. You've been in office for too long, so long that you have forgotten who you have forgot about who you work for. You work for us, the American people. It's what we say, not what you say. It's time for you to hit the road, Jack. You and Nancy Pelosi.
Again, he's supposed to be a comedian. Where are the jokes?
Hey,
the fake trumpet says, nice costume, Hannah. What costume? This is my true form.
Happy New Year, everybody. Happy New Year. This is going to be a great year. Oh, we taking over this year. We are taking over. The best is yet to come. The best is yet to come. And guess what? I know a lot of people are thinking, Terrence, why are you wearing the same hat if it's a new year? Because ain't a dang thing changed. I'm still down with President Trump. I stand with President Trump. Oh, the fight is not over. No. The fight is not over. Not at all. No. And by the way, before I continue, this video is sponsored by Noble Gold. This is very important because we are early in the year.
I'm having a sudden urge to buy gold for no reason.
How to protect your retirement. And Noble Gold can help you protect your retirement with real
experiment.
Physical silver and gold. Give them a call at 1-877-646-5347. Give them a call and protect everything you got, everything you own. Now, like I said, this is going to be a great year. The fight is not over. The Democrats think it's over, but it's not over. We all have to stand up for President Trump and fight for him because he got Republicans stabbing him in the back. He got Democrats stabbing him in the back. This man is up against the world right now. All he got is us. We all Trump got. We all he got. He draining a swamp, and the creatures are stabbing him in the back right now. Undercover Democrats posing as Republicans. I think after this, I'm done with the Republican Party.
Yay!
Especially if they don't fight for Trump. They need to object of this fraudulent election. They need to object this fraudulent election. Seriously. But we're gonna start this year out right, and starting this year out right means fighting for America. God bless you.
This video, by the way, is sponsored by Royal Foil for all your tinfoil investment needs. It will not appreciate in value. However, you can wear it and look very shiny like myself.
I need somebody to get on the phone right now and tell every single Republican to call me. I got something to say. Listen and pay attention. If y'all do not help President Trump, if y'all do not object to this fake election, I'm done with you. We are done with you. I guarantee you, if you don't fight for President Trump, we will never fight for you again. We will never fight for any of you. So if you want to be reelected the next...
He's really starting to get mad. I think he's really... At what point does he realize it's over? The Trump grift is over.
Next time, then you better make sure President Trump is reelected. You better make sure these Democrats don't get away with cheating. Because I guarantee you, if President Trump loses this election, because y'all let the Democrats steal this election from the American people and from President Trump, you will never have our support again, okay? You will never have it. You are not entitled to my support. You are not entitled to my vote. So if you don't stand up for Trump, you will never get my vote again. You will never get my vote again. We, the American people, will be done with you. So get up off y'all narrow behinds and fight for Trump. Get up off y'all narrow behinds and fight for President Trump.
Like, is the fact that he's saying narrow behinds supposed to be funny?
But President Trump has fought for half of y'all. Matter of fact, President Trump helped a lot of y'all get reelected. But y'all want to sit back on y'all. Let me watch my language. Because I'm about to say something that I might regret. But I am sick. Excuse my language. If y'all got any kids watching this video, send them away. Because I'm about to say something that is only for adults. I'm sick of this bullshit. Get up off y'all asses and fight for this president. Get up off y'all asses and fight for America. Or I will spend the rest of my life making sure none of you I will spend the rest of my life making sure y'all never get reelected.
So that's what Terrence K. Williams has been up to. He's taking it well. I'm sure after the 6th he'll be just fine. So as Zealous55 so eloquently put it, I rule Terrence K. Williams. Upsetty spaghetti. Case dismissed. Let me get to these bits messages and then we'll move on. Say Autumn, thank you for following. Towing24, thanks for the bits. Chaotic Star Whale, thank you for subscribing. Probably a Lannister with bits. Did Terrence just learn we give money to Israel and other countries? Oh boy, he's in for a wild ride. Ashyboo74, thank you for resubscribing with a 2-month streak. Lord Cuckbucket with some bits. Hannah, I was raised on the right, but I found myself being an independent, thinking that balance is the best because too far either way for too long will just cause serious unrest. But nah, Trump and MAGA have officially proved me wrong. We need to go left and leave fascism behind for good. Trans Queen of Salt with 20 bits. Some good news. The leader of the Proud Boys was arrested in Washington. Right on. Poet Lover 72 with 20 bits. Democrats stabbing him in the back implies they were supported by and support Trump. You okay, Terrence? Trans Queen of Salt with 20 bits. What's the next? What's next? The right starting to scream, "Not my president"? Do we get to make fun of them like they did the left now? Joshua Wyatt, thank you for following. Logarth, Rage Against the McConnell. Bardlock Moses with bits. Bootlicking is funny, I guess. 74 Quinn 74, 20 bits. I mean, are these comedy videos or are these just rants? They're rants. I don't know why he's supposed to be a comedian. Poet Lover 72. Who are the Republicans going to vote for then? There's basically a 2-party system. Where have you been, Terrence? And then Ghetto Kanye with 100 bits. Have a good stream. I'm gonna go watch the My Hero Academia movie with my boyfriend. You have Mad Amy Knight a lot more entertaining. Love you. Thank you. Appreciate the bits. Okay, what are we gonna do? That's 15 minutes. I don't know if I want to do that. Maybe we will, though. We could do a shorter one from Styx. Okay, do we want to do Terrence talking about Civil War, or do we want to do Styx talking about who knows what? I'll just pick a video. What do you think? I'm not going to do an official poll. I'll just eyeball it based on your chat. Styx, Civil War, Styx, 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 Pop, Styx, Styx, Styx. Oh, Styx is killing it. That's surprising. Okay, we'll save Terrence for another day. Styx is winning, like, by a lot. Normally it's a little tough for me to eyeball, but it's not even close. Okay, we'll do Styx. You wanted Civil War, but here of 100 bits regardless. Thank you. Yeah, did you guys see Lynn Woods and crazy tweets? Maybe we'll just look at that instead of Styx, actually. Hold on. Lynn Wood Twitter. Oh, we're doing another hype train. Bree1219, thanks for the 200 bits. Let me see if there's just an article that succinctly... So this is interesting. The Mightiest Quinn, thank you for bits, and Bardlock Moses with 100 bits. Styx occult stuff is fun. Maybe some tomorrow for Tinfoil Tuesday. Poet Lover 072 with 20 bits says, hype. Okay, let's read this article. Trump's allies are turning on Lynn Wood after he tweeted about executing Mike Pence and arresting Mitch McConnell. Lynn Wood being related to the Trump legal team. Allies of President Donald Trump are turning on the pro-Trump lawyer, Lynn Wood, after he tweeted about executing Vice President Mike Pence and arresting Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell. On Friday night, Wood posted a series of unhinged tweets accusing the Republicans of stealing the 2020 U.S. presidential election from Trump, adding, "When arrests for treason begin, put Chief Justice John Roberts, VP Mike Pence, and Mitch McConnell at the top of the list." In separate tweets, Wood said that the military should arrest those Republican figures and that Pence should face execution by firing squad, adding, "He is a coward and will sing like a bird and confess to all." Yikes. Here's what he has to say. Here's the actual tweet. One of them, at least. He says, "We have also learned that the globalists like George Soros and the dog whistle, and the elitists like Bill Gates were involved. CIA too. No surprise. Military-industrial complex. It all seems so clear. We overlooked one of the main participants in the theft of the election. The Republicans. These groups aspire to the goals of communism. A ruling elite and oppressed class of people who exist to serve those in power." Lynn, you're describing capitalism as it exists currently, not communism. What? Oh no. "When arrests for, this is a quote, I am quoting, okay? When arrests for treason begin, put Chief Justice John Roberts, Mike Pence, Mitch McConnell, and Senate Majority Leader at the top of the list." Neither Trump nor Pence, Roberts, or McConnell has commented on Wood's tweets, but two prominent allies of the president have criticized Wood's remarks. Jenna Ellis, a lawyer for the Trump campaign, tweeted on Friday night, quote, "To be clear, I do not support the statements from attorney Lynn Wood. I support the rule of law and the U.S. Constitution." Nicholas Sandman, level 2 hype train, nice. Nicholas Sandman, the pro-Trump high school student who sued multiple media outlets over their coverage of Washington rally he attended, also tweeted Friday, "I'm sorry, but what the hell?" Wood had represented Sandman in his defamation lawsuit against the Washington Post and other outlets in February 2019 over their coverage of a video that showed him face-to-face with a Native American activist earlier in that year. When challenged on his comments against Wood, Sandman tweeted on Saturday, "True loyalty involves criticism when necessary." On Friday night, Wood appeared to respond to the comments against him, saying, quote, "The tweets about my insanity are at an all-time high this morning. Wonder why? No worries. I'm fine. The attacks do not concern me." He doubled down on his remarks against Pence over the weekend, saying Pence, quote, "should reject the fraud and then resign," end quote, apparently referring to the baseless claims that the 2020 election was stolen from Trump because of widespread voter fraud. Early Sunday morning, Wood also posted a photo of him with 4 dogs, professing love for America, Trump, the recently pardoned Michael Flynn, and the conspiracy theorist lawyer Sidney Powell. It says, "I love my children. I love America. I love the rule of law. I love General Flynn. I love Sidney Powell. I love the fresh air of liberty. I love my followers. I love my puppies. God has poured his blessing on me. I love God. Someone save these puppies." We're at 32% of the level 2 hype train. Since Election Day, Wood has made several attempts to undermine President-elect Joe Biden's victory and has filed or joined lawsuits seeking to overturn the election results in Georgia and Michigan. In recent weeks, he also cited conspiracy theories, including a QAnon-linked story about Dominion voting systems last month and a claim last week that the convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein was still alive. Epstein died by suicide while awaiting trial in August 2019. Pence has faced criticism from Republicans and reportedly Trump himself for not doing more to support the president's baseless claims of election fraud. Pence has made few public appearances since Election Day. He has often been absent during Trump's most polarizing moments. On Saturday, however, the vice president said he welcomes the effort of GOP lawmakers to oppose the certification of the Electoral College votes that cemented Biden's win. The objections could delay the result certification, but would not change the outcome of the 2020 presidential election. So yeah, crazy stuff. The fascists are ratcheting up their rhetoric. Who would have thought? Who could have seen this coming? Except for literally everyone who's not stupid. Jesus Christ. Okay, I'm gonna rule that one just bonkers. That's bonkers. Twitter ban, please. Twitter ban for Lynn Wood. Case dismissed. Ugh. Bit messages. There's bit messages because of the stuff. Batty Bell with 100 bits. I'm getting sleepy, so I'm off to bed. Here's some bits for the train. Have a good night, everyone. Love you all. Thanks, Batty Bell. Bree1219, thanks for the 100 bits. Poet Lover 072 with 20 bits. I knew it. I knew it was only a matter of time before they turned on Pence. Glorious, glorious insanity. Lol. Avocado Aficionado with 500 bits. Thank you. Minute and a half left on the hype train. Lord Cuckbucket with 40 bits. Watching the right eat itself is fun. It is. It's fun. It's fun. Logarth with 100 bits. Hype train. Probably a Lannister with 100 bits. Roman Civilian with 100 bits. Ashiboo74 with 30 bits. My boyfriend and I finally got back home from visiting our parents for the holidays, and I'm already enjoying my edible and my Hannah and chat. I hope it's good. Don't overdo it on the edible. Ashiboo74 with 20 bits. By the way, Hannah, you look amazing. Love the new outfit. Thank you. The Proud Boys are being sued, too, with 20 bits. Civil rights group sue Proud Boys for destruction of historic churches' Black Lives Matter sign. Yeah, I heard about this. Group burns Black Lives Matter banner taken from DC's.
DC police reports at least 33 arrests and 8 officers injured after clashes last night between MAGA ralliers, Antifa, Black Lives Matter supporters, and police. Now, tension still lingers here into today as folks who came out for the MAGA march have been hanging around the plaza as supporters of BLM continue to stand guard. Brawls, stabbings, and Black Lives Matter banners burning punctuated Saturday night, fueling anger from Black Lives Matter DC, who claim the police did not protect them.
They had the right to roam DC streets and tear down Black Lives Matter signs. That's a hate crime.
This banner, torn down by groups in town for the MAGA rally from Asbury United Methodist Church, a historic African-American church in the district.
This is unacceptable, and Black Lives Matter is demanding that police be held accountable and the city council hold Mario Bowser accountable for allowing the Proud Boys to come back to our city and do the exact same thing they did November the 14th.
The church leader released a statement Sunday saying, in part, "It pained me especially to see our name, Asbury, in flames. For me, it was reminiscent of cross burnings and vowing not to be moved." And Mayor Bowser condemned the action on Twitter, saying her religious affairs office and MPD were, quote, engaging the impacted houses of worship.
Her statement today on Twitter means little, if nothing, without action. Because the only action that we've seen is that makes this okay.
As Black Lives Matter reps spoke, a man wearing a Proud Boys shirt stood by. A few other tense moments as Trump supporters tried to enter the plaza Sunday, sparking a renewal of the rally cry.
Who keep us safe?
We reached out to the mayor's office and MPD for comment on the group's allegations and did not hear back. At Black Lives Matter Plaza, Jess Arnold, WUSA 9.
Police tell us they made an arrest in the stabbings. 29-year-old Philip Johnson of Northeast D.C. is in custody. He is charged with assault with a dangerous weapon. Police say the 4 people stabbed are all recovering from non-life-threatening injuries. And also coming out of the MAGA march, this picture posted on Twitter by NPR reporter Hannah Alam. It shows a group of men wearing hats and shirts labeled Proud Boys. They were also wearing kilts. Turns out they were made by a company called Virilis in Fredericksburg, Virginia. And the owner was outraged to see them being worn by what he calls a hate group.
It was just shocking. Like, why would this group of people, of all the groups of people in the world, want to have our product and our logo on them in such a public setting? I still can't really process what's happened this weekend. It's been so overwhelming.
And Greenbrier estimated how much the men spent on the kilts and donated $1,000 to the NAACP to offset it. He's also stopped selling the yellow version of this kilt for now and is allowing anyone who purchased one to exchange it for another color. Looking ahead, Greenbrier told WUSA 9 he hopes to develop a line that will specifically support the Black Lives Matter movement.
Yeah, crazy stuff. Guys, the 6th is gonna be nuts in Washington, D.C. That's on Wednesday. We might do a Chud Watch on Wednesday. I don't know if we will, but just to kind of keep an eye on the happenings in D.C. on the 6th and look at some other MAGA Cope stuff. It'll be interesting. So. Okay. That's probably good for today. Hey guys, have you subscribed to my YouTube channel yet? If you haven't, do so. There's a link in the chat. Let's see. Trans Queen of Salt with 20 bits. There's talk of attacks going on in my state. I'm staying indoors and calling out of work on the 6th. Yeah, I don't blame you. Yeah. Just crazy stuff. I hope you like the new outfit, everyone. There's other stuff that's involved that you might see some of tomorrow on Tinfoil Tuesday. I'll spoil it for you. I got some wings that I can't wear the wings with the cape, but I can wear the wings or the cape. So, you know. They're demon wings. They go with this. Oh, I also got a hat. You want to see the hat? Hold on. I gotta stretch it out because it's a little bit it's okay. I have it on a hat dummy, so it's stretching the band out, but it's you know, that's not bad. That's a pretty good Tinfoil Tuesday hat, don't you think? So yeah, let's raid Jake and call it an evening, shall we? To think there was a time when I wore nothing but browns and blacks because I didn't like to wear colorful things. Being more comfortable with myself has allowed me to enjoy things more than I used to. Okie dokie, so let's raid Jake. Thanks everyone for coming to the stream. First stream of 2021. I'll be back tomorrow for Tinfoil Tuesday. Come and be part of the hype train so he can clad me in even more tinfoil and then he can see the wings and stuff. It'll be fun. Have a wonderful night, everyone. I hope you enjoyed Jake's stream. Chat's valid. Have a good night.